into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Welcome to it. Yes, it's the start of a brand new day. So good to have you in our company, and we got you for 3 hours, and we ain't going nowhere. Good morning.
Good morning.
Lovely human being. How are you?
Good morning. I'm so good. I feel like I haven't been here in ages, so it's good to be with you guys on this Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to all of you.
Oh, so good to have you in our company, as I said, for a good 3 hours. Of course, it is a Health Tuesday on your Feel Good Breakfast show today, where we're going to chat to nephrologist Professor Nicola Wern about World Kidney Day, and she'll help us with the correct pronunciation of every one of those medical terms, I guarantee you, but a very important day from our health perspective.
Absolutely. Then we're going to bring you some wholesome breakfast ideas that you can make in your homes this morning. So get this, we're making overnight oats as well as creamy polenta porridge. If you didn't have breakfast, I got you sorted.
I love polenta, I love porridge. Yeah. I love that. And then in case you missed it, our movie guru, Mr. JP Sebastian, is here to bring us the winners of the BAFTAs. Finally, we were able to see the celebrities out in all their finery, and along with Knox, they're going to be getting us all clued up on who was the best dressed on the red carpet, and it looked like it was an incredible... I think people embraced the opportunity to get out there and be front-facing in front of cameras again.
I'm here for the fashion, I'm here for everything. Because I wasn't here yesterday, and I have to ask this, did you watch the Manchester United game? Because that's the first game I ever watched in the longest time. Can we just take a moment for Ronaldo, like that hat-trick? I never speak about football, but I wasn't here yesterday to rub it in, so I did watch it.
So well done, Ronaldo, again. Okay. And speaking of sporting achievements over the weekend, in fact, there is a particular someone who achieved one of the coolest milestones that you can on 2 wheels, and she's sitting right there, and she doesn't even look like she's got lactic acid. Nothing.
No pain.
You're a road warrior. Morning, Zoe.
Thank you. Good morning. Oh, you know what? It was such a fun experience, and yeah, probably a bit risky during it, the little amount of time I've spent on the bike. But yes, I survived the Cape Town cycle tour. But it's time for me to say good morning to you, and it's great to be spending this Tuesday morning with you. Every morning this time, we love to connect with you on social media, and we ask you a different question, and today is no different. We want to know, if you could stop time and relive one memory, what would that be and why? Oh, I don't know why I'm thinking of this. It's maybe because I'm missing my sister, but if I could relive one memory and stop time, would be the moment I met her. And I remember I was only 4 years old, meeting my baby sister for the first time, and that is something I would love to stop and relive. So why don't you let us know, what is that one memory you would love to relive? Head on over to Expresso's social media pages, include that hashtag Expresso Show, and we will take a look at some of those beautiful memories throughout the show. But it's now for us to get into the official duties of your morning headlines. Here's Jamie Lee Domberg.
Thank you so much, Zoe. And I'll start on the national front this morning. Tourism Minister Lindiwe Sisulu says she hopes the issues between ComAir and the South African Civil Aviation Authority, or SACAA, can be resolved soon. Sisulu said this yesterday after all ComAir flights were grounded indefinitely at the weekend. On Saturday, SACAA announced the suspension of ComAir's air operation certificate after a number of safety-related occurrences. The airline's air operation certificate was initially suspended for 24 hours, but SACAA said on Sunday it was suspending it indefinitely. Sisulu lamented the devastating effect this would have on tourism. Then, staying on the local front, motorists in Gauteng are being asked to drive vigilantly after heavy rains occurred in large parts of the province. The Johannesburg Emergency Services are on high alert to respond to any eventuality. Motorists are requested to avoid flooded bridges and low-lying areas. A spokesperson, Robert Mulaudzi, said people who live in low-lying areas and informal settlements should monitor water levels and move to high areas if they feel unsafe. Then looking to news further abroad, authorities in Tanzania are investigating the cause of suspected pollution in the Mara River that has turned the water black and left hordes of fish dead. Union and Environment Minister of State Selemani Jafo announced the formation of an 11-member task force after visiting the northern Mukoma district on Sunday. The team has 7 days to come up with findings to address this major environmental problem. The river is world-renowned as the theatre of the spectacular annual wildebeest migration, when more than 1 million animals migrate in search of fresh pastures. Then the US says China will face consequences if it helps Russia evade sanctions. Media outlets citing Washington officials say that Russia has in recent days asked China specifically for military equipment, including drones, and that China had signaled willingness to assist. But the Chinese Foreign Ministry has accused the US of spreading disinformation, and Russia has denied asking Beijing for military help. The exchange came before the top US and Chinese officials met in Rome, and US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is meeting China's top diplomat Yang Jiechi. Then the city of Tshwane has announced the birth of no less than 5 cheetah cubs at Rietvlei Nature Reserve. They were first spotted during the weekend by city nature conservation officials. Cheetah mothers are known to keep their cubs well hidden and move their den every few days to protect the cubs from harm. A beaming Tshwane City Mayor Randall Williams said, and I quote, "It's only the cubs reach about 6 weeks and they start moving around with their mother and eat meat from her kills." Their mother, known as Njozi, it means dreams in Swahili, is known for her shyness and doesn't show herself that much. Now, Mayor Williams explained, and I quote, "She roams throughout Rietvlei Nature Reserve and is mainly spotted during the early mornings or late afternoons." Rietvlei Nature Reserve is the perfect reserve to form part of the cheetah breeding program, as there is no direct competition from other large predators, which often results in a high adult and cub mortality rate. Cheetahs were first introduced to the Rietvlei Nature Reserve in 2002, and Njozi is kept there permanently for breeding purposes. On that good note, that is where I leave your news headlines. We will be back on the top of the hour. Right now, it's time to have a first look at the sports with Graham Richards.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Let's start with football. Last night, and they certainly missed a trick or two or three. Manchester City wasted a host of chances in a damaging 0-0 draw at Crystal Palace to leave them now just 4 points clear of Liverpool at the top of the Premier League table. Pep Guardiola's side had 18 shots and 74% of the possession, but left Selhurst Park ruining a series of missed chances. Bernardo Silva, Emerick Laporte guilty of the most glaring miscues. Elsewhere, it is now evenly poised in the Champions League round of 16 legs between Man United and Atletico Madrid, and of course Ajax against Benfica tonight. So United head into the second leg having secured a 1-1 draw in the first leg, while Ajax and Benfica, they are currently locked at 2 goals apiece. Staying with footballing news, Bafana head coach Hugo Broos has named his squad for the friendly international matches against Guinea and world champions France later this month. Broos has retained many of the players who came close to qualifying for the third round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. But there are also some interesting new names added. So right backs Kuliso Mudau and Bandile Shandu have been selected, as has young centre-back Athenkosi Mqaba, who has featured in just 8 PSL games in his career. What a break. Then left-back Lyle Akay, he gets a welcome recall for what could be his first cap since Sao Tome e Principe in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers. That was back in 2020. The Matobi Mvala and Tabang Monare are also in the mix. Bafana will take on Guinea in Belgium on the 25th of this month before their clash with France in Lille on March the 29th. And then plenty to celebrate after a spectacular day in cricket yesterday for our ladies. South Africa rode one of the greatest individual performances from Marizanne Cup to earn a stunning 3-wicket victory over the defending champions England in the ICC Women's World Cup yesterday. So Cup took a maiden ODI fifer, created a crucial run out late in England's innings, and then scored scored a vital 32 off just 42 balls as South Africa chased its highest ever total at a World Cup. So knocking the 236 needed for victory with 4 balls to spare at the Bay Oval. And the experienced Cup took 5 for 45 to help South Africa restrict the 2017 champions to 235 for 9 after putting their opponents into bat. And then Laura Wolfart led from the front, scored 77 at the top of the innings before Cup contributed 32 at the back end to propel her side over the line. So South Africa's next focus turns to their game against the West Indies tomorrow. And then he's not done yet. I doubt he ever will. In fact, Tom Brady, one of the greatest, if not the greatest player in NFL history, is coming back for his 23rd season. That's just 6 weeks after officially announcing his retirement. So the 44-year-old quarterback said last month he was ending his playing career after winning a record 7 Super Bowls. But Brady has now said he has, quote, unfinished business and will rejoin the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In his final game of the 2021 season, Brady narrowly failed to pull off a sensational comeback from 27-3 down in the playoffs as the Bucs ultimately lost 30-27 to the eventual Super Bowl winners, the Los Angeles Rams. We'll certainly watch that space, but that's where we leave our sport for now. Let's get an update on local weather and some of the temperatures we can expect today.
And looking at your weather, the MEC for Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs in Northwest, Lena Miga, yesterday visited the flood-stricken Deelpan in Tshwang local municipality. The area recently had torrential rains and numerous houses were submerged, leaving many families stranded. A task team comprising officials from local municipalities and departments has been assembled to mobilize resources and provide humanitarian relief to families. These families are being accommodated in the local Reformed church, and further needs assessments will be done once the water has subsided. Meanwhile, the SA Weather Service has issued a yellow level 2 warning for the Lowveld area early this morning and the Western Highveld of Mpumalanga. The south central and southwest of Limpopo, as well as the northern parts of Gauteng, will experience heavy rainfall this afternoon. Our thoughts are certainly with all of our fellow South Africans during this very difficult time, and we urge all of those residents in those areas affected to move to higher areas if possible. Now, from your weather news, we turn our attention to some sunrise views that were sent in by you, our Expresso viewer, as we showcase the photos shared that was sent on our Facebook page. Brian Smith from Mossel Bay is starting us off for your Tuesday morning with this gorgeous image overlooking the ocean, and it's filled with burnt hues reflecting in the water below. And then one of our regulars, Gary Orkamp, shared this awesome image on behalf of his nephew, Jesse Daniel, who is an avid sailor and surfer, taken while on the Buffalo River in East London. What an amazing way to start off the day, Jesse, and thank you for sharing that with us, Uncle Gary. And there we go. Please be safe when sailing out there. Well, if you have a sunrise photo you would love to share with us, please head on over to the Expresso Facebook page and you can leave your photo there for us to share with you. Now, if you're in Polokwane, expect some thunder showers and a low of 16 with a high of 24 for today. If you're in Mbombela, 19 your low, 21 your high. Thunder showers in Pretoria reaching a high of 22. Johannesburg, 15 reaching a high of 20. Rain can be expected in Mahikeng, 13-25. Klerksdorp, 13-24. Partly cloudy in Kimberley today, 11-24. Bloemfontein, 10-23. A rainy day in Richards Bay, 18 your low, 20 your high. Pietermaritzburg, 13, reaching a high of 20. Rainy conditions in Durban, 19-23. Mthatha, 12, reaching a high of 20. If you're in East London, 15 your low, 19 your high. Cradock, 9, reaching a high of 21. Gqeberha, 15, reaching a high of 20. Partly cloudy conditions in George today, 13 with a high of 21. Cape Town, 17 with a high of 21. Worcester, 10-27. Sutherland, 6-22. And a sunny and warm day ahead in Uppington, a low of 13, a high of 28 degrees Celsius. Well, that's where I leave your weather for now. Another update coming your way at 7 o'clock.
Well, the sun's out just a little bit, so we've got to savour it. It's time to change things up, and I think we've discussed this so many times on the show over the past 2 years. Athleisure has become an enormous trend. Well, today I am channeling a more casual look, and I need you to help me decide between the two looks from Woolworths' amazing new athleisure range, and they can do the business in the gym, but I love the fact that you can also just relax in them as well. So let's start with option one, cozy, slim-fitting hoodie. I love it, absolutely love it. Cut from soft cotton, feels great, paired with some comfortable stretch performance-ready joggers designed to keep you cool and dry, even when you are really piling on the heat. Love the look, simple, relaxed, cool. Then we've got option two, which is a bit more active, a nice slim-fit long-sleeve t-shirt, beautiful breathable fabric as well, comfortable performance shorts, woven from a quick-drying stretch blend as well. Both these items also have the amazing moisture management properties to keep you cool and dry. They really are a marvel of modern technology when it comes to clothing, and they look pretty cool. So I need your help deciding. It's your choice. Head over to the Expresso social media pages, vote for your favorite athleisure outfit by commenting on the poll post. Give me some ideas as to why you like and don't like either. And of course, I'll put on what you decide. And of course, don't forget to include that all-important hashtag, styled by Woolies, of course, styled by you.
Julep, julep, julep,
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
There is never enough time to get through everything we need to do every day. I'm speaking about myself, and I'm sure you can relate. This morning, we are chatting to Nikki Bush, a human potential expert, about how to reframe our relationship with time. Nikki, a very good morning. Thank you for giving us your time this morning. We really do appreciate it. How are you?
Thank you, Graham. I'm fantastic. Thank you.
Nikki, before I give you a bit of context as to why this has become almost an obsession of mine where I am in my own kind of life journey and as a parent, I want you to state this, proclaim it, lay it down for us. What is our most important resource?
Well, it's time. It's time, Graham. But actually, I want to reframe that it's not time, it's our attention.
Yes.
And it's where we focus our attention, where we choose to focus our attention, because time and attention are the finite resources. They're the scarcest resources we have, and they're the resources that make the biggest difference in terms of our relationships as well as our success at work.
Before we get very emotional and talk about the relationship, and when we start to layer over that the idea that this is finite, that we have a limited amount of times left in our life to be present and connect with the people we love the most, I'm going to look at the other word that you said there, success, because time is obviously very much woven into our long-term projection of what we want to achieve. So what differentiates one person's success from another's?
Such a great question, because it determines everything. Because where I choose to focus my time and attention will be very different to where you choose to focus your time and attention. And it doesn't have to be the same, because what you term as success and what I view as success is going to be different. And everybody is like a unique fingerprint. So one size doesn't fit all. And if you think about this, Graham, you have a family of two, you have a permanent partner, versus somebody else your age who may be single, footloose, and fancy-free. How they use their time and attention and how you use your time and attention is going to be distinctly
very different. I get that it is all completely relative, but I think there is one common thread between most of us, and it might sound a little bit silly, but to-do lists. All of us, I have on my phone different notes of different layers of to-do lists, of long-term, of short-term, we all have these plans. What do we do with these long to-do lists, and how do you feel about making lists in terms of what you need to achieve within the time that you've got?
Oh, you're talking to the list queen here. I mean, I thrive. I'm at the end of every day. I create my list for the next day, and I know I'm not going to get through everything. I know, I've been doing this for long enough to know. That list directs our day. And I think where we have to be careful is that the list can become a task trap. And sometimes it's a cover. Busyness can be a cover for success. If we've got a lot to do, we must be being successful. If we've got a lot to do on our list, we must be okay. But sometimes that is misdirected. And we land up putting so much on that list that it's overwhelming. We don't get to finish it. But what's really important is this question. And this is a question that I picked up from an amazing woman called Shalmina Abji, who became a vice president of IBM, and she came from the dusty plains of Tanzania, from a poor family background, and she's just done incredibly well, and she worked through corporate America with two small children as a single mum. Yeah. And she said this to me recently. She said, we very rarely stop to ask if what's on our list is worthy of our attention. Is it worthy of your attention? So where you spend your time and your energy is directly linked to your self-worth. And we often push ourselves to do a lot of stuff that maybe other people could do for us if we delegated it. And maybe we're doing stuff that's not important.
Doesn't deserve our attention. It's not how much time you have, it is what you are focused on with that time. We're going to delve into the relationship aspect a little bit deeper in just a moment. Nikki, I'm going to ask you to stick around. Such an interesting conversation to have here. I'm going to proclaim it because I had a bit of an epiphany when thinking about this, that maybe the most important relationship with time that we have is with the people that are closest to us. And ultimately, the most important thing is spending time with those that we love the most. You can ruminate on that for just a moment. We'll be back with Nikki, our human parenting, our human potential expert. She's going to break it down for us. We are reframing our relationship with time.
Well, thank you so much, Nikki and Gina. This past weekend, the Cape Town cycle tour took place, and our very own Zoe Brown over here was part of it after only 5 times on the bike. I still can't believe it.
You know what, I wish I had more time on the bike, but it was just how the schedule worked out. But yeah, it was a goal I decided at the start of this year. It's something I wanted to do, and the best way to get into it was just to enter. And then I had no choice but to just, when I had a free moment, to jump on the bike and get going.
We are all so proud of you. I mean, we just saw pictures of you online, and just seeing the journey leading up to, taking part of this event on Sunday. What was it like being able to set out this goal for yourself and achieving it in a time that even surprised you.
It surprised me. I think what made this so special was my dad did the cycle tour back in the day, and he's done it 9 times. So I know how badly he wanted to complete his 10th ride. So when I told him I entered, he was like, okay, he'll celebrate my first win like it's his 10th. And so his first time was 5 hours 19. So that was the goal I set for myself. I had 2 goals: to complete it in 5 hours and 19 minutes and to not get off my bike and push it. Those were the 2 goals I set myself, and I did. I mean, at one stage the legs were burning, but I didn't get off and push. And then yes, I finished in 4 hours 50, so I did surpass Dad's record. Well, first time, and it was tough conditions in the sense that it was raining for the first 2.5 hours on my bike. I think when I reached the M3, my shoes were sopping wet. It was dripping.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
Did you guys just hear that? 4 hours, 50 minutes. Can you get a round of applause for that? That is brilliant, Zoe. Where to from here, girl? Do you officially call yourself a cyclist now? Is that...
I think I'll be a cyclist once I buy my own bike. I borrowed a bike from someone just to get into it, so now I want to start looking at, you know, getting part of the sport, because there's such a nice lifestyle aspect to it. I've met some incredible people. The cycling community is really, really friendly, everyone helping each other. And I mean, I've done a weekend away where we took our bikes with, and you just get to see and explore so much more of our beautiful country on a bicycle compared to in the car or on foot.
What was the most difficult part of the route? Because I know you said you were a bit nervous for like the ocean view, that little route, but what was...
I was nervous for ocean view only because that was the one part of the route I didn't really cycle in preparation leading up to the cycle tour. But that was actually the best part. The amount of people that came out and supported the kids, because by then the rain had stopped. So they were so festive. The kids were asking us for empty water bottles or extra chocolates. I'm like, I would give it to you if I didn't have Chapman's Peak to get through. But it was so sweet. I would say the toughest part was maybe just the start, because it was raining and you didn't know what to expect, and there was just a lot of people. And then also going down Hospital Bend, it's quite a big like a downhill. So I think my biggest fear was just everyone said to me, don't cycle over the painted areas because that's when you slip. So that was the part that scared me the most. But other than that, I remember as I reached the M3, I was like, okay, you're doing this now. There's no turning back.
There's no turning back. You're on this route now with so many other cyclists. And I think, you know, we are so proud of you for just setting out this goal, achieving that in like the things that you wanted to achieve as well. But now, where to from here? Like, how's your body feeling? I didn't even get to ask you, how's your body feeling?
Body's feeling fine. It was just the knees that was a little tender and the arms from holding the bike, but everything else was good. I mean, look, I'm on my very comfortable couch.
And she's even going to be working out in just a little bit. Zoe, we are so proud of you. Please send all your love and just like congratulation messages to Zoe on our social media. Our Zoe Brown is a cyclist, everybody, completing her first cycle tour this past weekend, and we are so proud of you.
Thank you, Jamie, and also congratulations to everyone else that took part and even those who volunteered. You know, this is for you too.
Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
We are continuing a very important and timeous conversation with human potential and parenting expert Nikki Bush around reframing our relationship with time this morning. Something that we are all subject to, but we all react completely differently. So next, I'm going to jump right in because the weird thing is I've been thinking about this so much ahead of our conversation that time is the most precious resource when it comes to spending time with the people we love. What is the most important objective when it comes to spending our time?
I guess, Graham, it's having quality time when we're with those people. So if you're not going to be with people on a regular basis, you do have to make a point of being fully present in the moment. And that goes for being in meetings too in the office. You know, you can be in a meeting but not really be present because your mind is elsewhere on that task list, that to-do list, because perhaps you are misdirecting your time in too many directions. And, you know, it could be, for example, that you are chasing deals at work. And if you've got 20 deals on the go, you're going to be spread really thin versus maybe picking 5 and going deep and doing quality work and quality investment of your time and attention with deals that are going to make a difference and maybe get you closer to your view of success. Going back to relationships, investing your time with people who are really close to your heart and making a difference in your life versus spending some frivolous time maybe with people who are not that important to you. And when you've got finite time, you do have to become a little more choosy. A friend of mine said that she had 5 more summers left with her daughter, and that was at the beginning of her daughter's high school career. Yeah. And that daughter, who is my goddaughter, turned 21 this year, and those 5 summers are gone. Now, what she meant by that is that she could only guarantee that she would have a summer holiday with her daughter while she was kind of still in school. Now that she's in university, she's got her own life and she doesn't necessarily have to come on holiday with the family. So what is the quality of the time that we're spending with those we love and those we're trying to build deep relationships with in the business world?
Luckily, my daughter's going to live at home until she's 30. That's how it's going to work in my life. I love it. Picking up on something that you mentioned in our last discussion, our self-worth. How is time linked to our worth?
Graham, this is a fascinating conversation, and it relates more to women than it does to men. Okay. Women often say yes to more because we have been conditioned to be selfless, to be nice, to collaborate, to give of ourselves, because then we must be being a good person. And we find it much more difficult to put boundaries in and to say no. And this is a message particularly for women today, that if you see you are doing too much, you must ask yourself that question. Is what I'm doing deserving of my attention? Is it worthy of me? Because a woman often says, am I worthy of it? And that is just eons of conditioning. Yeah. So your self-worth is so linked to the decisions that you make. Ask yourself, is this important? Is it worthy of your attention? And I'm finding that it is really making me think twice about some of the things that I'm engaging with. And that's a good thing. It's an exercise in perspective and being a little more conscious about whether doing something is going to take you closer to what you believe is success for you, or is it taking your eye off the ball? And that is success and winning at both work and at home in your personal relationships too.
Well, that being said, it means you've got to learn how to say no sometimes. How do you get that right? If you are someone who is used to pleasing people and giving so much of yourself all the time, how do you go about setting those boundaries?
The interesting thing, Graham, is when we become a little less negotiable, and when we are firmer and clearer about our boundaries, we actually generate respect. And you can put a buffer in where you can say, you know, this sounds like a really interesting thing to do. Let me give it some thought and I'll come back to you tomorrow. Or I need to check my diary because it's looking pretty busy at the moment and I will get back to you. So just to build in that breathing space so that you can take a step back and say, is this worthy of my attention or not? Quietly in the back of your mind. And then you can get back to people and you can say no firmly and kindly. You don't have to be rude, but people will learn very quickly to bring things to you that deserve your attention. And that is also a good thing, to train people not to waste your time either, because if you're the person who is the constant rescuer, the constant fixer, you often land up taking on things that you shouldn't, because people know you will. You're a softie.
I can see, I can distill all of this into a simple kind of observation. We need to be less busy and more productive. So how can people connect with you and gain more sage advice to be able to achieve this in their lives? How do we connect with you and tap into Nikki Bush?
Right, so I would love to continue this conversation. NikkiBush.com, otherwise Nikki Bush Speaker on Facebook. And there is so much on my website around saying yes and no, because if we don't say no, we do not give ourselves permission and space to say yes for the stuff that really counts.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you so much for that advice. You can get more brilliant advice on how to future-proof yourself on that website. Again, nikkibush.com. I'm going to say it again. You've got limited time. Spend as much time as you can with the people you love the most.
Oh, Nikki Bush, thank you very much for that. Always just sage advice on how to navigate our lives in that way. Thank you so much for that. It's Tuesday morning.
It is indeed, and we'd love to connect with you on social media. So earlier on, we asked you if you could stop time right now and relive one memory, what would that be and why? Maybe before we read out the comments,
yes,
what would that moment be for you?
For me, I think it's when I was being inaugurated as head boy.
You were head boy?
Absolutely.
In Hammanskraal High?
No, not in Hammanskraal. This is when I left Hammanskraal and I went to high school, grade 11, 12, grade 10, 11, 12. And they were playing the Chariots of Fire. The band, the school band was playing Chariots of Fire as I was walking onto stage. That the school choir on the stage, hundreds of people with candles lit, and I was just walking up to take my badge and my blazer. Ah, what a time!
Oh, is that it? I thought you fell, and now you wanted to, oh.
No. Then I went on, I took my badge, and I held the Bible, and I said a prayer, and I said, I will serve. And I
will
served.
serve. As head boy
And you?
of not Hammanskraal. Probably giving birth to Luca. That was such a special moment, and it's like I wouldn't want to relive the pain of it all.
Yeah,
Let's not go through that.
Yeah.
But just like having that bonding moment and seeing for the first time, there's nothing like it. I get goosebumps just thinking of it.
Life-changing. Well, let's take a look at some of the comments that have come through of people who really want to pause and revisit. We've got one from Reba Govindo, who says, November the 24th of 2010. That morning, I would have went with my mum in the ambulance. I would have sat by her side while she took her last breaths in hospital instead of going to work, never realizing that she may have left home fine, but she wouldn't come back.
Oh, wow.
That is a sad one. Geraldine Pillay says, July the 24th of 2021, my dad's last birthday with us. He was always a birthday person, starting his countdown a month before and even sending us reminders. Even though his last birthday with us, he was sick and went for his radium, it was still special. Oh,
that is so beautiful. And so oftentimes, you know, you want to relive moments and stop moments, but it's also a thought for us to be present in the moment every single time. So make sure that you spend time with people you love the most, and maybe you spend time working out. But again, share with us, if you could stop time and relive one memory, what would that be? We'd love to hear from you. I know Zoe Brown would like to stop time right now because she's about to work out for this Tuesday. What do you have for us this morning?
That's an athlete.
Well, listen, only to stop time and avoid any potential pain that's about to come our way. But Heinrich Basson promised me that's not going to be the case, because today we are all about making good use of our time. So if you are joining us this morning for our fitness routine, you're in for a treat, because we're going to be doing an intense workout. It's a template that really will consist of multiple rounds designed to ramp up your heart rate, essentially serving as an alternative to cardio. So if you're not into cycling, if you're not feeling like running, but you still want to get your heart rate up, Heinrich is here to show us just how to do that. I'm excited. Should I be excited or worried?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, worried in a good sense, excited in the best sense.
Okay.
So basically, again, what we'll do today is kind of just getting the most out of a little bit of time you have left of the day, wherever that may be. Everybody's lives are quite chaotic and busy, so there's always time to fit in a HIIT workout. And with HIIT being kind of like the principle, you got to understand that HIIT needs to be high intensity, so it needs to be a little bit higher than kind of like your normal, I suppose, threshold. That changes from person to person, but it also needs to be interval based. So
You need to basically panting.
exactly. You need to be kind of just thinking, why am I doing this? Just for a split second.
Okay.
And then you realize why.
Okay.
Because it's
so
amazing.
You're about to make
Exactly.
me think that.
So we're going to run through a couple of movements. Again, ranges, time-wise, generally everybody at home can do this for about 30 seconds on, 10 seconds, 15 seconds off. We're just going to run through the exercises. So you're going to start with the first movement. Your feet will be on the mat. We're just going to move sideways. So you're just literally going to jump up and get a nice intensity where the feet go beyond the mat. Okay. So the mat's kind of a nice template to use. So from there, you're going 1, in, out, in, out. Okay. So let's do about 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we recover.
Okay.
Yeah. From there, the next one quite similar. Now we're just going forward to back. So it's kind of going to be a bit of a running man challenge in a sense. We're going to call it that. So again, I'll show you first up. You're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're kind of mimicking a bit of running. So I know you're a cyclist now, but we're going to have to do a little bit of running as well on the spot.
All good, all
so
good.
from there, let's start feet together. Just kind of calibrate things. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and recover.
There we go.
Okay, 2 of them done. Next one, half burpee. So for the half burpee itself, you can do it on the mat. Just be wary of not kicking the mat up. Everybody at home too. So hands go down, feet kick out, and then we get back up standing. So hands down, feet out, up, and we're standing once again.
So it's our half burpee.
Yeah, so let's do about 5 of those.
Okay.
So 1, up, 2, 3, and 2 more. And last one.
One more.
And recover.
There we go.
Yeah. So once again, our recovery is a little bit sort of in between here. Generally, you can use certain time. Again, 15 seconds is always a good time to use. From there, one more movement. Our inner break dancer.
Our inner break dancer.
How good at your break dancer?
First, oh, terrible. I'm not even a dancer, never mind a break dancer.
Okay, well, I'm not great as well. So if I can do it, I feel like everybody can do it.
Okay.
So let's start off on the mat. From there, all you're doing is you're going to bring the bottom leg through, left leg towards our right side.
Okay.
So through and back in and twist and back in, twist. And we can keep going. Again, as you're twisting, don't be afraid to twist the hips. Also, don't be afraid to point the toe up to the ceiling. There we go, eye in the detail. And one more, and recover.
Oh, this is intense on the legs.
Especially after doing the August, I guess, eh?
Yes.
So after you've done that, again, that's sort of just, I want to say, some loose ingredients which you can kind of, I say, get through. If you are really time crunched, or a great finisher is if you literally do everything all in one, back to back, as one interval itself.
As one interval. So my producer just said we have like a minute left. So should we quickly do it?
Yeah, let's run through it. So
how many of each?
Let's do five counts.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with, again, our first movement, feet going outwards. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From there, forward to back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. From there, half burpees.
Burpee.
Hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then last but not least, break dancers. So from there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ready?
Yeah.
One more.
Okay.
Okay. And recover.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant one more round of 5, but let's stop there.
Happy days. Happy days.
I know, this is amazing. Okay, so we got the heart rate up. You got me out of breath. Mission accomplished.
I mean, yeah, mission, I want to say, if everybody can kind of have a similar feel, again, just for everybody at home, you kind of want to push, again, at a high intensity, but just be wary, it changes person to person. Look at I breath myself here.
That's okay. I just want you to do all the talking so I can catch my breath. But there you have
it really just depends on person to person. So just push yourself within your own capacity.
There we go. And that's so important. Just give yourself that little bit of a push. Sometimes we need to get out of our comfort zones and out of breath in order to achieve our goals. Heinrich, thank you for joining us today.
It's a big pleasure.
And I hope you enjoyed it too.
Only you can make my day.
simple as CBD should be.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody. This is your feel-good breakfast show. Shame, poor Zoe. After that intense workout before the break, it's time for all of us to refuel. Now, oats are most commonly used for breakfast as a hot meal, but overnight oats are a refreshing alternative to your regular warm bowl, and it can be jazzed up by adding some of your favorite breakfast ingredients. Now, Nondu Miso is here to take us through this recipe that will redefine your weekdays. And honestly, I always look at people that have these. Like Zoe used to come in the beginning of the year with us, and I'm like, where do you find the time to meal prep? But it looks so easy.
Exactly. So it's exactly because you can meal prep it. That's why you have it in the morning. It's so convenient. Okay. So what we're going to do today, and by the way, I love the recipes we're showing today because they're also so easy to prepare.
And we
They're
love
for the
easy.
kind of person who doesn't have that much time to spend in the kitchen. Okay. So I'd like you to first start off by chopping up that banana for us.
I got it.
Okay, so to prepare your overnight oats, which is absolutely divine, you want to start off by filling up your jar just halfway through with some oats, okay? We love oats because they're gluten-free. So for those of us who have irritable bowel syndrome, oats is really good. It's a good alternative. It's a good option for breakfast.
Yummy,
Okay.
yummy, yummy. And it keeps you fueled for longer. So having
Yes.
such a big breakfast in the morning. I'm not a breakfast person. I intermittent fast.
Oh, nice.
But when I do break my fast, I like to have something that will, sustain me for the rest of the day. So this is perfect for me as well because you can just pop it in the fridge, take it
Yes.
out whenever you want
Yeah, so
to eat it.
you'd actually prepare these on a Sunday if you wanted, and they keep well in the fridge for up to 5 days.
I was going to ask you now, how long
Yeah.
can you keep it for 5 days? Okay, I could do one every night and then just have this for breakfast or lunch or whenever I'm breaking my fast.
Yes, okay, so you want to then top it off with some butter. So we're using peanut butter today.
Ooh.
Because peanut butter is a butter that we all love and have in our kitchens. But obviously, I think you can, if you're feeling particularly luxurious, you could use another more exotic butter, like a cashew butter.
Ooh,
or
almond butter as
macadamia
well.
butter.
Ooh,
Almond butter.
ooh, okay,
now
well,
you're just
now we're
leveling up.
speaking.
So you have to level up your butter, your overnight oats. And then you want to add some chia seeds. This is optional, but chia seeds always make it a bit more dense and a lot more sort of filling.
And crunchy as well.
Crunchy, yes,
This is
exactly.
so good for you as well. So
Yes.
this really ticks off all the boxes. You have some good carbs. You have some, if you wanted, you could add some protein powder if you wanted
Precisely.
to. And then, your carbs as well. So perfect, especially if you're refueling like Zoe that just did this
Yes, a
cycle
workout.
tour. She needs all of these.
Yes. Then you want to add a sweetener of your choice. We're using maple syrup here. I love maple syrup. And the nice thing is that you can play around. So you could literally go like on a Monday, I want to have some blueberries, right? You can add some blueberries to your overnight oats. And on a different day, you can have some bananas that you've prepared for us here. And you could just add any type of fruit that you want. And then, of course, you want to fill up your jar with some milk and make sure that all your oats are covered with milk. We're using the Clover milk today, but as I mentioned last time, Clover also has a soya milk. So that's really cool for those who are plant-based.
Gotcha.
Okay, so you want to add your milk, and then you close off your jars and you put them in the fridge overnight, and you can just grab one every morning and go to work.
So wait, I'm not having to boil anything. I'm not having to
at
cook
all.
anything.
Not at all. And it's so delicious. My goodness. So we've got some here prepared already.
Okay.
And as you can see how gorgeous they look.
They look so pretty. I actually don't even want to eat it because I'm like, I just want to take a picture of it and have a look at it. Can you just I'll go over to this side.
Yes.
There we go. Okay, I'm actually going to break my fast today.
Ooh, are you going to break it early today?
This is never before seen, okay? So I'm going to try this just because I've always wanted to try these overnight oats. Like I said, I've always seen Zoe have it.
Yes.
Okay, I'm trying to get at the bottom,
get
some of that oats in, because I was just worried about like the texture. You didn't boil it.
No.
Would it not be stodgy? Okay, here we go.
No, it's not stodgy at all. It's nice and soft. Nice and crunchy,
So
and juicy.
That fresh fruit as well just adds a different element. Nice, has a bit of a tang to that. Chia seeds as well, really, really good. If you want to get your hands on this recipe, I urge you to do so. Expressoshow.com, overnight oats. It is easy, it's convenient. You can do it on the go. And guess what? We still have more breakfast ideas coming your way. You do not want to go anywhere. This is actually really good. I think this is mine. And I still have to take a picture of it. I still do have to take a picture of it.
Enjoy it.
Yummy.
If you want more sweetener, you can always add some more maple syrup. You're not about that life.
This is perfect.
Okay, that looks really, really yum. Thanks. Please leave me some. Let's sweeten the deal a little bit as far as fashion and styling is concerned this morning. It's all about athleisure. That's the name of the game this morning. And earlier on, Graham asked you to help him choose between two outfit options for Woolies men's athleisure options. Let's take a look at some of your comments that have come through on Facebook from Mudikwa. Cornelius Lekwakhane saying, due to the weather conditions, number one. Mapifo LC says, one. Linda Ranake says, one, a slim-fitting hoodie with a performance jogger, hashtag styled by Woolies. We got one from Trika Gcele saying, one, the hoodie. Roberta Snell says, number one outfit. Yo, number one is really just coming through with all the options. Lebogang also said number one would do. We're experiencing chilly mornings. So that's obvious. The winning outfit for Graham Richards this morning is outfit number one. And you, of course, can shop the look at Woolworths in-store, online, or on the Woolies app. I believe that Graham's already wearing that option number one, so he's going to be heading on over here so we can see how that daddy athleisure is like. Oh yes, daddy. I'm chilling. Come on.
I'm chilling. I love it. This has got to be the most. Come say, check.
You're feeling yourself.
I'm checking myself out.
You're feeling yourself. You're loving it.
Absolutely love it. So relaxed. I could have done the workout this morning if I'd wanted to. But
so you're wearing this the rest of the morning?
Yeah, I'm chilling now.
This is your look. This is so cool.
I'm going athleisure.
So relaxed.
No, but I mean, this is how we spent the majority of the last 2 years. You want to know that your athleisure is cool enough to step outside of the house, and I absolutely love it.
I even know people who don't even go and do any fitness, who don't go to the gym at all, have never set foot in there a single day, who do athleisure so well that they look like they've just stepped out of the gym. Every time you see them, you look so, so good. It is available right now, online, in-store, or on the app. Go shop it and look like G-Dog. Feel yourself, because it's about athleisure. That's the name of the game, baby. Shop it. Looks so good. I like that hoodie.
Julep, julep, julep,
Style your home with Expresso, as 3 lucky viewers like you stand a chance to win game vouchers to the value of 25,000 Rand for a room improvement of your very own.
To enter, all you have to do is post a photo of the space you want to revamp on Expresso's Facebook or Twitter competition post, and remember to use the hashtag #GotGame in your entry.
The competition is closing on the 22nd of March 2022, and all the terms and conditions apply. Good luck.
Welcome back, you beauties. This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, live here on S3. You're in for a treat this morning because indelible storyteller Pilani Bubu is never without a lived experience etched into her heart and mind in a highly expressive musical journey. I mean, she really is such a star. She tells authentic stories of inspiration, identity, and influence, and they come together in the most harmonious way. But before we get to chat to her, let's take a look at her first music video. Watch this.
In my sheets, I'll be daydreaming, fulfilling 1,000 mates. I imagine them all playing back in my mind, so many scenarios. Whatever they may be, I'm all yours, 'cause in my mind you're already nostalgia. I missed you before I met you. You got me feeling so good. Tickle my fancy, you got me worked up in my head.
I can totally see myself just starting the day, a cup of coffee in hand, and you're just jamming along to this. That's Pilani Bubu. And today she joins us here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show, and she is sharing her journey behind the latest project, Lockdown Love Story. Let's give a very warm, feel good welcome to Pilani Bubu. Yes, queen. Pilani.
Hi.
It's you.
It is I.
You exist. You're
I
not
do.
a hologram.
What?
I follow you on social media and I'm always just like, what an unbelievable girl. You are so talented. You are all the feel good that we need. But it's been a long journey coming to this,
Yeah.
right? I mean, your story is actually quite an incredible one. You've always said that fundamentally, the way that you tell stories has always been rooted in, I suppose, your role as an activist. There's specific messages as a Pan-Africanist that you are trying to get across. Let's talk about that.
Wow. So as an activist, I like to call myself a creative activist.
Yeah.
And most of the time, I want to encourage other people to be inspired by the concepts and the ideas that I bring to life, to be inspired by my journey, to see where they can seek inspiration, to see how they can create into the world. Because I do believe that we are all co-creators of life. And if we all live to that passion, do you know what I mean? That's the change that we all need to be in the world. Fundamentally, that is like the singular change that we can create in the world, is if we were doing the thing that we're passionate about, giving our best creative energy. As a Pan-Africanist, I definitely spend a lot of time traveling through the continent and also collaborating through the continent. So Lockdown Love Story Tour started in Ghana and then went to Kenya and then came to South Africa, and I'm trying to move around different parts of the country. And what it is just breaking down these walls. And I feel like this pandemic made us more insular. And now we got to find a way to remember that things do still stay the same. Human beings just want to connect. We all just want to be together.
We love to connect.
Right. And so with this latest project, Lockdown Love Story, what I'm sort of pushing through there is post-pandemic mode, a way in which we can all, kind of reflect through the project, use it as a portal for reflection, redemption, restoration, reunions, and tell our lockdown love stories. What were we doing during lockdown?
Well, you've got to tell me your lockdown love story, because here it is, your really highly anticipated EP with 8 tracks in it, Lockdown Love Story. It's all about, budding romance and experiences that took place, I suppose, during abnormal times. Pilani, did you fall in love during lockdown, baby girl?
I did.
Let's talk about that.
Bad timing. March 2020. It was almost like when I left Expresso the last time I was here promoting my last project. That was March 2020, right?
It feels like a lifetime ago.
I know. I started a conversation with someone who slid into my DMs.
They slid into your DMs.
So I thought that, Cupcake was going to close the country jail one month and the curve would flatten. But it was not that simple, right?
Yes.
And so this relationship began then virtually and started getting hot and steamy, between my 4 walls, alone, during lockdown, lonely. But in some way, fell in love and connected with someone and kind of explored those nuances of, what does a virtual relationship feel like? It's nostalgic, it's dreamy, it's like Brandy sitting up in my room.
Love it. Okay, so as we lay.
Yes.
As we lay... Okay, no, but it's a different one. The song is set, obviously, off the creation of Lockdown Love Story. In producing it, of course, you collaborated with lots of creatives from other parts of the continent, from Kenya, also outside of the continent as well. I mean, you've even gone to Budapest as well. You've, got influences contributing to the fluidity of your distinctly African identity in As We Lay. Let's talk about that track.
As We Lay, mean, there's so many playlists out there. I feel like I need to tell people like different words because I'm not really genre-driven. I'm driven by the story.
By the story,
Like
yes.
new R&B, it's like alternative R&B, Afro R&B. And what it is, and where it started was springboarded by, I wrote a poem during lockdown for this lover to let them know, like, I imagined like what it would be like when we first met, what would happen, what would he say, what would we do.
Yes.
And what happened is then someone from Kenya, Afronautic, Sean Peeves, who's Afronautic,
Yes.
sent me a track, and then I just put the song or turned the poem into a song against that. And so it was a track that springboarded everything. So that one was released before. Then we have an album version of the track produced by Samuel Sechangi from Kenya, but he was living in Cape Town at the time.
Yeah.
And we kind of like then made a sonic journey that kind of carried through the EP that was springboarded from the track as well.
Okay, this is absolutely incredible because the fact that all of these stories that come through in Lockdown Love Story are all actually so authentic. They're based on your real lived experiences during lockdown, but I'm sure experiences that lots of people have connected with as well because we all lived through that period. We're gonna love hearing the music, and the beauty of it all is that Pilani Bubu is going absolutely nowhere. No, she's going nowhere, especially after going through the effort of matching our cushions. She wasn't gonna go anywhere. She's gonna perform with us or for us here on the show all the way through to 9 o'clock, so make sure that you stick around.
Well, the time now is 7 o'clock, time to have another look at those news headlines. Starting on the national front, train services between Bellville and Cape Town resumed yesterday without passengers after being closed for nearly 2 years. Metrorail closed the line in March 2020 when lockdown level 5 was first implemented. Spokesperson Nana Zenani said passengers would be able to board trains from tomorrow. She said a new operating timetable would also be introduced soon. Zenani added that all stations on that line would be functional except for Paro, which had been badly vandalized and as a result would take longer to come into operation. Then Tourism Minister Lindiwe Sisulu says she hopes the issues between ComAir and the South African Civil Aviation Authority, or SACAA, can be resolved soon. Sisulu said this yesterday after all ComAir flights were grounded indefinitely on the weekend. On Saturday, SACAA announced the suspension of ComAir's air operation certificate after a number of safety-related occurrences. The airline's operation certificate was initially suspended for 24 hours, but SACAA said on Sunday it was suspending it indefinitely. Sisulu lamented the devastating effect this would have on tourism. Then looking to news further abroad, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned that the country of Ukraine was being decimated before the world's eyes, with the impact on civilians reaching terrifying proportions. Now, this comes as he urgently appealed for peace and diplomacy. The UN chief was addressing the devastating impacts of the Russian invasion and military assault on Ukraine as concerns grow regarding rising hunger and dwindling supplies of water and medicine there. The UN chief said the poorest regions of the world would suffer the broader economic consequences of this conflict most acutely. And then authorities in Tanzania are investigating the cause of suspected pollution in the Mara River that has turned the water black and left hordes of fish dead. Union and Environment Minister of State Selemani Jafo announced the formation of an 11-member task force after visiting the northern Mokoma district on Sunday. The team has 7 days to come up with findings to address this major environmental problem. The river is world-renowned as the theatre of the spectacular annual wildebeest migration, when more than 1 million animals migrate in search of fresh pastures. And then an African grey parrot named Echo at the Maryland Zoo in the US is out to prove that birds can be painters too. Zookeepers are training Echo how to paint and posted a video of the parrot creating, well, abstract art. Echo paints by grabbing a sponge dipped in paint with her beak. Now Echo then takes the sponge to a sheet of paper and moves it all in one direction. Of course, Echo also received treats for taking part in the activity. Painting is a great enrichment activity that keeps Echo mentally stimulated and allows her to use her natural adaptations. She sure is creating quite a masterpiece. This was said by the zoo in a statement. The only question that remains is, will she be the next bird Picasso? Well, we will have to wait and see. On that note, that is where I leave your 7 o'clock news headlines. We will touch base in an hour or so, but right now, here's another look at the sports with G-Man.
Thank you so much, Jamie. While you at home consider Picasso's latest competition, let's get into our footballing results from last night. And they mean quite a lot when you look at the bigger picture. Manchester City wasted a host of chances in a pretty damaging 0-0 draw at Crystal Palace to leave them now just 4 points clear of Liverpool at the top of the Premier League table. Pep Guardiola's side had 18 shots and 74% of the possession, but left Selhurst Park ruining a series of missed chances as Bernardo Silva and Emerick Laporte were guilty of the most glaring miscues. And elsewhere, it's evenly poised in the Champions League round of 16 legs between Man United and Atletico Madrid and Ajax up against Benfica. So United head into the second leg having secured a 1-1 draw in that first leg, while Ajax and Benfica, they're locked at 2-2. And staying with footballing news, but bringing it back home, Bafana head coach Hugo Broos has named his squad for the friendly international matches against Guinea and World champions France later this month. So Broos has retained many of the players who came so close to qualifying for that third round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers. There are also some interesting new names added. So right backs, Koliso Modao and Bandile Shandu have been selected, as has young centre-back Athankosi Mqaba, who has featured in just 8 PSL games in his entire career. What a break. Then left-back Lyle Aki, he gets a welcome recall for what could be his first cap since Sao Tome e Principe in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers back in 2020. Matobi Mbala and Tabang Monare are also in the mix. Bafana will be taking on Guinea in Belgium on the 25th of this month before their clash with France in Lille on March the 29th. And she has shone on the biggest stage. South Africa rode one of the great individual performances from Marizanne Cup to earn a stunning 3-wicket victory over the defending champions England in the ICC Women's World Cup on Monday. So Cup took a maiden ODI 5-4, created a crucial run-out late in England's innings, and then scored a vital 32 of 42 balls as South Africa chased its highest ever total, in fact, at a World Cup, knocking the 236 needed for victory with 4 balls to spare at the Bay Oval. The very experienced Marizanne Cup took 5 for 45 to help South Africa restrict the 2017 champions to 235 for 9. That was after putting them into bat. Then Laura Volfart scored 77 at the top of the innings before Cup contributed 32 at the back end to propel her side over the line. So the next focus, SA's next game is against the West Indies, and that's tomorrow. And then finally, he's not quite done yet. One begins to think, will he ever? Tom Brady, one of the greatest players in NFL history, is coming back for his 23rd season. That just 6 weeks after announcing his official retirement. So the 44-year-old the quarterback said last month he was ending his playing career after winning a record 7 Super Bowls. But Brady has now said he has, quote, unfinished business and will rejoin the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In his final game of the 2021 season, Brady narrowly failed to pull off a sensational comeback from 27-3 down in the playoffs as the Bucs ultimately ended up losing 30-27 to the eventual Super Bowl winners, the Los Angeles Rams. We'd love to see him in the game, but that's where we leave our sport for this hour. We'll delve back in at 8 o'clock right now. Let's bring you up to speed with the weather.
Thank you, Graham. Looking at your weather, a quick news update. The number of people known to have lost their lives since Cyclone Gombe made landfall in Mozambique has risen to 12. This number could increase as some areas in the most severely affected coastal districts of Nampula province remain inaccessible and without communications or power. Despite the cyclone losing intensity and turning into a storm, it continues to bring heavy rain, and an alert remains for a possible rise in the flow of rivers. It is expected that the severe weather will continue throughout the week, with the possibility of another tropical storm forming towards the end of the week. Tropical Storm Ana, which struck in January, and Tropical Depression Dumako in February affected more than 200,000 people in the region. Now, our thoughts and prayers are certainly with all of those affected, and we're going to now cast our eyes to our sunrise views. Roxy Mays from Gqeberha kicks us off for our 7 a.m. update with this gorgeous but moody image of her area showing off those dark clouds above as the rain falls, casting a glow on the sky as the sun comes up. Absolutely beautiful. Then Sumaya Conrad from Wynberg shared this beautiful image of the blue sky in her area, showing off the sun's rays just breaking through a bit of cloud cover. Absolutely beautiful. Well, if you have a sunrise photo that you'd love to share with us, please do so on the Expresso Facebook page. Let's look at your temperatures. If you're in Polokwane, some thunder showers can be expected with a low of 16, a high of 24. Mpumbela, rainy conditions with a high of 21. Pretoria, 16, 22. Johannesburg, 15, reaching a high of 20. Mahikeng, 13, 25. Klerksdorp, 13, 24. If you're in Kimberley, a low of 11 and a high of 24 for today. Bloemfontein, 10, reaching a high of 23. Rainy conditions in Richards Bay, 18 with a high of 20. Pietermaritzburg, 13, reaching a high of 20. Durban, 19, 23. Mthatha, 12, reaching a high of 20. East London, 15, reaching a high of 19. Partly cloudy conditions in Cradock, a low of 9, a high of 21. Gqeberha, 15, reaching a high of 20. George, 13, 21. Cape Town, 17 rather, reaching a high of 21. A sunny day in Worcester, 10 is your low, 27 your high. Sutherland, 6, reaching a high of 22. And a warm day can be expected in Uppington, a low of 13 and a high of 28 degrees Celsius. Well, that's where I leave your weather for now. A final update coming your way shortly after 8.
Thank you so much, Zoe Brown. Of course, it's Tuesday, and every Tuesday we bring you Pharmacy of the Week to acknowledge the incredible people working on the front line. And this is, again, our way to say thank you to these brave healthcare workers. And this is proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Correct. So let's take a look at this week's Pharmacy of the Week. It's Orchard's Pharmacy. It's out in Pretoria. Watch all that they do in their community.
Our pharmacies are on the front line of healthcare. This is Pharmacy of the Week.
We are brave enough because we are the pharmacists. We have taken the oath that we have to serve the community. That's what we are for. We are very helpful, and we go an extra mile to get, if the medication is not available, we do an extra mile to get the medications for our community.
I moved into Orchards area in 1983, and in 1985 the Orchards Pharmacy opened here. So I'm one of the first customers of Orchards Pharmacy. And since then, always good service, reliable, your medication is always on time, and the pharmacists are always willing to help you. You know, if you got a problem, then they know what to do.
Community has supported us a lot, and they gave us they sent us thank you messages, and we do a lot of deliveries. And during the pandemic time, they didn't even come inside the pharmacy. They were outside waiting for us, and we deliver the medication to them.
Pharmacy of the Week, proudly brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
With schools opening again, teachers and parents will face difficult situations, like tummy cramps, teething, pain and fever, scratches and scrapes, allergies and coughs. Adcock Ingram OTC brings you a wide range of products to help parents take care of those challenges. Brought to you by Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Orchards Pharmacy, we see you. Thank you so much for all that you do. And for everyone else, we thank all of those fighting on the front line. We certainly do appreciate you.
Salute.
your Feel Good Breakfast show, Expresso. Now, usually when JP Sebastian joins us in studio, we talk all things movies. Today, we're just going to bring you all of the highlights from this past weekend's BAFTAs. Of course, taking a look at Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting...
You got your leads.
Just the leads, the lead actor,
How many
lead
supporters
actress.
do you need?
I don't know.
Do you need a shoulder right now?
Did you enjoy watching or catching up on the highlights for the BAFTAs?
I've still got catching up to do on a lot of the movies as it goes, because, you know, these like streaming services upon streaming services that haven't come to South Africa yet and all those kind of things. But what I always like that the BAFTAs seem to try to give it to sometimes the little guy.
The little guy.
And I mean that in the sense that that person has desperate, like, total quality to themselves.
They acknowledge it.
But they're not necessarily the pressures of, oh, it has to be a big movie, you know, kind of thing. But we'll get into it.
Well, let's get into the first one, the Best Supporting Actor.
So, yeah, obviously, again, this is a strong field, and I was personally rooting for Cody Smith-McPhee. I'll recommend on the famous streaming service, so you watch The Power of the Dog.
Power of the Dog, okay.
It's really incredible, heartfelt stuff. However, the winner was Troy Kotsur, which we all know by now. This is for the Expresso viewers who maybe did not see the BAFTAs. Troy Kotsur is the first deaf person to be nominated in this category, and however, won the SAGs this year, won Critics' Choice, and is definitely going to win the Oscars at this point. That's, by the way...
that gave me goosebumps, the way people applaud.
So you want to talk about goosebumps? I was going to show you guys a clip from Coda, but I cried watching clips alone. This movie is incredible, and this actor's amazing. The scene in particular, good grief, for hearing his daughter sing for the first time and appreciating her dream to sing. Coda, by the way, means Child of Deaf Adults.
Okay, C-O-D-A.
So that gives away the story, but at the same time, Coda means the end of a song, and it certainly is not the end of Troy Kotsur's song, and I'm sure that we'll see him.
Well deserved. Now we focus our attention to the ladies for Best Supporting Actress.
And again, like, you know, BAFTAs don't get it wrong. It's a great feeling being past the Golden Globes, because they sometimes choose some sketchy nominees. However, great choices. I love Jessie Buckley, what an incredible actress, and Ruth Negga. But however, and out as well, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story has been, again, SAGs, Golden Globes, etc., etc.
Did she take the BAFTA too?
Yes, ma'am. No, that's why I mentioned it. Yes, sorry. Winner for West Side Story. Shame the poor thing said a fluke word there by mistake when she was called. She was so shocked. She really didn't expect it. But she might be able to. Yeah, well, absolutely everything about the Steven Spielberg movie. This lady didn't necessarily believe that she could get the role, and in her thanks speech, she said thanks to the casting director who believed in her. She nearly walked out.
Yeah.
And
she had a powerful story, not having much experience.
Yeah, and Steven Spielberg goes, I do not care. I see the spark in you, and West Side Story is the one to see that spark for.
There we go. Well, now we shift our attention away from the supporting to the leading actor first.
And the guy's been trying for years, and I mean that with you know, a big heart, obviously.
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Don't Look Up was not for me. Benedict Cumberbatch was amazing. I'm surprised to see Mahershala Ali, obviously, and Stephen Graham was amazing.
Getting a nod there.
However, Will Smith won the BAFTA.
Well done.
Also, again, these top three in these categories won the SAGs, won the Golden Globes, won the Critics' Choice, and so Will Smith might finally get that third nomination for an Oscar, might turn into
an actual win.
For him.
He hasn't won an Oscar yet.
No, ma'am. This would be his third nomination without, and hopefully he does actually get the gold this time, because King Richard looks like he puts his whole heart into it.
And he really worked hard for it. But we have something we want to show.
Yeah, well, why not let's see the work that he put into King Richard itself. Here's a clip.
Now, I understand you got to do your job, even if some crazy-ass neighbor do call talking foolishness. And I don't even mind you saying we hard on these kids. You know why? Because we are. That's our job, to keep them off these streets. You want to arrest us for that? Fine, but what you not gonna never do is come knock on this door talking about you had to blow their damn brains out in them streets because they running with hoodlums and doing drugs and things. That's what you not never gonna say in this house.
Will Smith.
In his pursuit of happiness, wink, wink. Definitely might pursue an Oscar this year, it seems. So being applauded all over the world. However, we have to move on. I'm eating up my own time here. Lead actress, finally. And that was won by Joanna Scanlon. If you can get your hands on, guys, After Love, what an incredible actress. What an amazing job that she did. And this is, again, why I said, like, you know, BAFTAs recognizes the small folks. And when I say small, it means, you know, she's a great actress as it is. In her own island country, the little nation of the UK. She won't, unfortunately, get the spot at the Oscars, but what an incredible actress. If you can find it out there, South Africa, After Love, amazing portrayal that she...
Supported. Well, JP Sebastian's not going anywhere. We've got more BAFTAs to unpack. We'll take a look at more of the other winners. And then, of course, we'll also, later with Knox Muffa, I don't think you're part of that chat when we talk fashion, but we will look at the BAFTA fashion too.
Not this guy.
I definitely want to hear JP Sebastian talking about the fashion at the BAFTAs. Please let him do it. Oh, we are standing by right now to bring some incredible musical magic to the Expresso stage this morning with an amazing artist and just a wonderful human being. Pilani Bubu is here for you, and this is coming from her upcoming EP, Lockdown Love Story. Here is As We Lay. Take it away.
Late in the PMs, you slipped in my DMs. One day, Bella. Is interesting, got to try. Pakati kwa bantu abangavayo. Na, jengetang. One day, Bella, ndivu sending galelang. You've got me feeling so good. You tickle my fancy, you got me worked up in my head. As we lay, you've got me all in the mood. You tickle my fancy, you got me riding daydreams in my bed. Bradley Prince on guitar. You've got me feeling so good. You tickle my fancy, you got me worked up in my head.
don't know if you guys know, this is not like some smoky nightclub in Havana, Cuba at 11 o'clock at night, okay? This is like a breakfast show, it's the morning, so just dial it back a notch. If 9 months from now, a whole lot more babies are born, I'm just saying it's all on you guys, okay?
I'd be so happy to be a catalyst for that.
Oh, we love it. We feel the love. You can share the love. Is that available for download?
Yes, it is. So As We Lay is available on all digital platforms, including a video on YouTube, so they can go and download it.
Support the vocals of the locals. Let us know what you thought of that performance. We'll see you in a mo.
Telkom gives you more value and more Monati. We've dropped the prices of our data and voice bundles. Get a 500 meg bundle now for just 10 Rand. Dial *180# to buy Get More Monati bundles and enter them Bekeli Beki. Live your Monati.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is your Feel Good Breakfast show. Indeed, welcome back. We are talking all things BAFTAs with the one and only JP Sebastian. Now, if you missed it earlier, we touched on Best Supporting Actor and Actress as well as Leading Actor and Actress. Now we're focusing our attention to some of the movies. Best Rising Star. Let's focus there first before we get to Best Director.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And of course, you all know this already. It happened this weekend, the BAFTAs, but we're just here celebrating, and also I'm going to do the style chat later. No, I'm not ready. No one wants to hear me doing style talk. However, I will talk to you about the Rising Star category, which is something that would be nice if this was in every award show, where you try and recognize someone who, man, they just made a debut and they're great for it. Ariana DeBose won for Supporting Actress, has no problems there. However, this had to... Oh, Cody McPhee. Millicent Simmons is obviously from A Quiet Place, also a deaf person like Troy Kotzer. It went to Lashana Lynch, however, who people might first recognize from Captain Marvel, like 2 years ago. This time it was mostly for No Time to Die, but it's a rising star. It's no one particular movie. It's the trajectory of this amazing young talent. Young.
Does this come with added pressure? Walking away with this?
Well, what's pretty sweet about this is the public vote on this.
Okay.
It's not, the fancy pantsers and your peers or anything like that. The general public decided that it was Lashana Lynch, democratically voted by the British public. And truly, like, if you've seen the new Bond movie, then you know that she could probably get her own spin-off. Truly holds her weight, and then, hey, maybe she'd be the next 007, 00. Whatever you need from Lashana Lynch, she'll do it. Fantastic actress.
Go. Amazing. So that is your Best Rising Star. Let's look at Best Director, because this is always a fascinating category.
Yes, and it's especially fascinating when you consider gender disparities and all of that kind of business. I think the Oscars have only had 3 female director nominees, Chloe Zhao, Hurt Locker Lady, I should know their name, but there's only 3 people.
Okay.
But this one went to... Wait, oh no, we're doing Best British Film.
Oh, well, let's first look at Best British Film that's on our screen.
That's probably my bad. Didn't play my rock music at the start. It's like caffeine for me. Best British Film is, surprise, surprise, the best British film of the year. And what might surprise you is that House of Gucci, obviously, was shot, a lot of it, in the UK and with the UK crew. Spoke about James Bond. Cyrano just released in South Africa last week, Friday. However, the winner is, for this, Belfast. Had to be. My producer knew I was lagging there. She was like, say Belfast, say Belfast. last time I've not had sleep.
So I want to still see House of Gucci. I mean, Lady Gaga has really surprised me with her. I mean, she's just an all-rounder. She can sing, dance, act. She is brilliant. But Belfast is now being added.
Dance, Belfast has it all, and here's a little bit of a clip of a movie that's already on circuit in South Africa, so if you need to catch up, Belfast is on the big screen. Here it is on your small screen, however.
If I could come up with something smart about that, maybe I could stay up at the top desk and wait till she gets back there.
Well, you could say the moon's made of green cheese and drop down a plate.
Or you could do the project together, you and a young lady. You get the same marks and maybe end up on the same seat together.
But how do you even talk to her?
How to handle a woman? There's a way, said the wise old man. A way known by every woman since the whole rigmarole.
Yes, whole rigmarole with you, mister.
So the whole movie's in black and white?
How old are you? Too much sugar in the morning and she wants to see everything that must look like Fruit Loops to Zoe. Good grief. Yes, the whole thing is in black and white. Have you not seen sculptures before? Have you not walked through a museum?
No, I have.
Too young for that.
I haven't watched a whole
Kids
movie
these
in
days
black
with your
and white.
mix-its and your twitzing. However, now it's time to talk about Best Director. Talking myself in circles here, and that went to, I was speaking about the lady directors, and Jane Campion was the one who pipped it for Power of the Dog. With Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm not showing you her at the awards because she didn't make it, unfortunately. It was accepted by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Well, that's sweet.
Excellent director and knows exactly what she's doing. And this movie, like I told you off camera as well and on camera, South Africa, check it out. Incredible performances from all of these actors. I have to move on, however, from Best Director.
So now the best film, right?
So Brits aside, or wrapped up in general with all of those, let's have a look at the nominees. Even though you know the winner, or some of you might or might not, Belfast appears again. Licorice Pizza was lots of fun. What is wrong with my tongue?
It's okay.
Dune, I'm getting all tongue-tied and sandy in the throat because I love Dune so much. However, Power of the Dog takes it for Best Picture at the BAFTAs this year. I just oversold it to you as it is. There's nothing more I need to say. I'll let the movie speak for itself. How about JP shows you a clip from The Power of the Dog? No clip.
We don't have a clip today, but it's fine. You know what? It's okay. I'm quite surprised Dune didn't make more of an appearance at the BAFTAs.
I'm so bummed. But The Power of the Dog is truly strong competition. It would be hard to beat. Dune doesn't have a dog in this fight. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But Best Picture, totally well deserved.
Oh, well, there we go. Now, that is all the technicalities for the British Academy Film Awards, also known as the BAFTAs. Later, we will be doing fashion. JP's not part of that, but Knox and Mafu will be joining us for that.
Okay, so we'll tell you what is in black and white from start to finish. It's this deal. It's been noted, it's been written in black and white. It's a deal, no frills.
No, I'm going to say it's black and white with a little bit of red.
With a little bit of red. Oh, yeah. Okay, written in black and white, etched, but with a bit of red. And you get to experience red and unlock more with Vodacom Red. There really are some really incredible, lots of them, amazing rewards and benefits that really cannot be missed this month.
Yeah, we've covered as many as we can, so let's reiterate with some of the real kickers here. Finally, we get our hands on the new Samsung Galaxy S22. Ooh. Take a little look at this.
No doubt about it that Vodacom Red has some great benefits, as you can see on your screen right now, especially Red VIP. On a Red VIP plan, you can get the Samsung Galaxy S22 on a 30 gigs Red VIP plan and unlimited minutes for only $1,949 per month. Plus, get the Samsung Galaxy Watch 4 Classic eSIM and Buds Live for free.
Oh, free. And that is a massive value add. And you need those for like the Samsung ecosystem. Yeah. Absolutely beautiful. So Vodacom and Expresso want you guys to really experience Red and unlock 10 gigs of data, and what you've got to do to enter is reply to the competition post on our Expresso Facebook, Twitter, or our Instagram page, and simply tell us this. If you could video call any celebrity, who would it be and why?
Okay, so don't forget to use that hashtag ExperienceRedUnlockMore. Who would you call and why?
I don't know. It's a difficult one. There's so many
but also you've spoken to so many of your friends in person.
Most of my heroes I've been able to interview. I'd like to have a sit down with Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Just to find out how he does it, man.
Yeah. Tom Cruise.
Hey, I still can't get over him walking from the helicopter without a wallet, man.
Easily.
How do you get that rich that you no longer need a wallet or a phone, man? Crazy.
Man, this competition will close on the 17th of March. That's this Thursday at 10 o'clock in the morning. So please do go out and enter in the T's and C's. You can find them on expressoshow.com. Who would I call? We'll see you in a bit. Who would I call? Beyonce.
Switch to Red and get the Samsung Galaxy S22 for 1,499 Rand and a rugby jersey, Watch 4 and Galaxy Buds Live free. Further together, Vodacom.
We're back in the kitchen, and this time we're cooking up another exciting breakfast for you. Now, breakfast doesn't have to be monotonous. You don't have to eat the same thing over and over. That's why we're using polenta today. It's a coarse maize meal. You can use it if you want to do a savory dish, if you want to make it as a porridge. But Nondumisa is here to show us exactly how to do it to satisfy the cravings.
Yes, right. So you mentioned earlier when we were talking normal, regular maize meal, right? There's some maize meal we grew up on. This is something special because it's a bit more sort of luxurious. It's really delicious.
Exotic.
It's exotic. I really encourage people to try it. I was very familiar with how to use polenta in my savory dishes, but I recently discovered using it as a porridge is also just really wonderful. So it's really simple to prepare, as you said. You want to start off by adding 2 cups of water into your pot. Ooh, our pot is really hot, right? So it's sizzling hot there. Then, of course, you add some milk. Okay. And then you want to add the polenta. Now, you want to first look at the polenta and see how beautiful it is. So it's always good to admire the food.
Got it.
Yes, always do. Then you add your polenta, and then you want to stir it nice and gently. Whisk it preferably just to prevent any clumps from forming. And can you just help me out by slicing up a banana? You're slicing up another banana.
I'm a sous chef today, so I'm just cutting up whatever you need. So again, some nice sliced bananas with this. And this, I can imagine, also would keep you nice and full for longer because it is like a maize meal.
And it's rich in antioxidants and vitamins, and it's also gluten-free. So really cool for those who, again, have irritable bowel syndrome or celiac disease, or just if you just want to have a different porridge, right?
And if you're just gluten, just
intolerant, or you don't like gluten,
or sensitive and you don't like it, then this is a perfect recipe for you in the morning.
Yes. So you want to keep stirring your polenta, and as it's cooking, this is how you actually elevate this dish, right? You want to start off by adding some vanilla extract. You can add any type of flavor you like. We're using vanilla extracts because we love it, but you can also use vanilla essence if that's what you have at home, or you could use cinnamon. It's really up to you. The point is to play around in the kitchen and have some fun.
Ooh, right. Cinnamon then would give me that nostalgia, like the maize meal with cinnamon, some brown sugar, lots of milk as well.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Warm, comfy food.
Yes, for breakfast. And then I like to build up the flavor as I'm cooking the polenta. So I will add a little bit of my sweetener. So you could always add it while you're cooking the polenta or afterwards. It's up to you. I like to add a little bit in there just as it's cooking to make it extra special. You may add a pinch of salt if you just to taste. And as well, I will always say this, I don't mind adding butter while it's cooking as well, because you want it to be extra creamy, right? But of course, I understand some people are watching their caloric intake, so if you are on a diet, then maybe leave out the butter. But if you don't want to leave out the butter, then you can also add it as you're cooking.
If you want all that fuel, all that yumminess, all that goodness, because peanut butter with anything, I mean, especially with something like this, the creamy porridge, will just complement it so perfectly. And then we also have the fresh fruit that can elevate this recipe.
Yeah, and as I said before, you can play around with your nut butters. Always explore, be inquisitive, right? So you can use peanut butter, you can use cashew butter, you mentioned almond butter, you can use any type of butter that you want. And you want to cook the polenta until it starts to pull away from the pot. That's how you actually know that it's cooked, right? You want it to be thick, but not too thick. So it should be thick enough to coat the back of your spoon. Right?
Because everyone has their different preferences. Some people like it nice and loose, so they would add lots of milk to it. Yes. Is that how you'd get it to be a bit more loose and not stodgy, I guess?
Yeah, so if you don't want it too stodgy, then you add a bit more milk, okay? That would just make it nice and loose for you if that's what you prefer. But if you want your porridge nice and dense, you then would obviously add less milk. Okay.
How did you come up with this recipe? I'm just thinking, you know, a lot of people would have it with like savory dishes, with a steak, a good piece of fish. What made you go like, let me actually try to make this as a breakfast porridge?
I don't know how I came up with it. I literally was thinking to myself, what if I use polenta as a porridge? And actually, it tastes so good once you finish it. It could actually be even a dessert. So you could make something like, you know how they have rice pudding? It could be like something like a pudding. It's really that good.
Thank you so much for your brain cells.
If you want
this, because now you brought it to us on live TV.
Yes, I mean, I certainly didn't come up with it. When I looked it up, I was like, oh, I guess some people have tried it already. But then you want to garnish once you've cooked your porridge and it's, as I said, started to pull away from the pot. You want to then put it in a beautiful bowl, and in your bowl, you garnish it with whatever fruits you want, some berries, and add some more butter, right?
Why not be adding more butter?
More butter. To this? Yes, always, always, always. And a little bit more maple syrup. It's really up to you to decide how much of, you know, the sweetener you want. Some people don't like any sweetener at all. And I also would like to drizzle some milk as well on top of it, just, again, to add that extra sort of softness.
I don't think we can ever go back to a boring breakfast after you have touched, you know, just our pots right now, because you are serving us all the goodness right now. But if you want to get your hands on this recipe, it's very simple. Head on over to our website, expressoshow.com. You can get the full recipe list of what you can do to get this ingredients, and make sure that your breakfast is not boring, everybody. Polenta porridge served either with whatever you want to do it, and this is how you elevate your Tuesday. Yummy.
Right?
Yeah.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, I've been teasing at this. We are talking fashion from the BAFTAs, because this past weekend we celebrated the best in British and international cinema at the BAFTAs, as well as the Critics' Choice Movie Awards. And we have our fashion editor, she is our fashion and beauty editor, Nox Mafu. She is here to discuss the best looks from both awards ceremonies.
Girl, you have a tough job today, because people came out. Some of them slayed, some of them not so much. But we're not going to talk about the not so much. We're talking about the top 5 looks that you've seen on the red carpet this past weekend.
I love award season. I don't know about you, but it gets me so excited. And I think this is a really good time to look at like fashion stars, and the celebs came through.
They
so I think
did.
we need to come have a look at these.
And I feel like this is where people get like their matric dance dress inspiration
Yes,
from.
Oh my God, I used to do the same thing. I'd like cut out and be like, okay, I want to look like this. I want the top half of this. I want the bottom of that. So
I was watching music videos. Everything in a music video, I was like, oh, that's the girl. Like Mariah Carey was always my inspiration. But can we take a moment for Lady Gaga, everybody?
Let's start off with Lady
Gaga.
This look, for me, there's that old Hollywood glam. I love that.
Incredible.
I'm sorry, this is your
No.
segment.
So this is actually Ralph Lauren, and that's why it actually has that classic look to it. We've got about 150 hours, more than that, to make this dress, guys.
Whoa.
150 hours, over 50 meters of velvet. But Zoe, like, you're right to crush on this. This is absolutely elegant. The detail in the fishtail there is unmatched.
And you know why I like this so much? Is because Lady Gaga in the beginning was so known for her out there, outrageous outfits. I'm glad she's now, I don't want to use the word toning it down, but going a bit more classical.
Absolutely. It's a bit of a refined look, right? And I think the joy about fashion is that you really get to play from like a meat dress, which was early on in her career, to something like this. And you can see how she's grown. I mean, even her feature in that latest movie, I think it was the House of Gucci. You can see her styles evolved from that. So a really nice look from her. I love the detail in the jewelry. It's absolutely classic to me.
I know we always speak about the dresses, but also can we take a moment for the makeup? I think the makeup also just complements the dress so beautifully. It's natural. Again, it's not outrageous. It is a bit toned down for Lady Gaga, but A for effort.
Exactly.
Love, love, love her. The next one we'll talk about is Rachel Zegler.
Rachel Zegler also looking absolutely classic here. So here she's wearing actually Vivienne Westwood. I love the shoulder detail over here. I love a bit of showing of collarbones. That's always my favorite. I'd love to get your guys' take on this because that detail at the back is so gorgeous to me.
I love it. And also the color is very striking. I can picture myself in this
Yes,
dress.
I was going to say that. This is such a Zoe Brown dress.
Very much a Zoe Brown. And also the focus again on the makeup. Having that updo so we can focus on the detail on the shoulder.
He could rock anything.
Absolutely incredible. And just that fine jewelry at the top, just to give that classic look. I think that's a big focus for most of the stars today. It's just that timeless classic look as we go back into awards season.
I don't know about the hair, though. The only thing I would crit is for the hair. I think it minced a bit. It like, just like, you just need a bit of, like...
I thought she had a bob.
Yeah.
It's not a bob. Is it tied up?
You see here, it looks like a bob, and then here it's giving something else. But don't you think it ages her a little bit, the hairstyle?
A little bit. If she just had to do a bit of a sleek back, that would have just elevated the look. But nonetheless, beautiful. Zoe, I think for the next awards or anything that you have to do red carpet, this should definitely be an inspiration for you.
Be my Let's move over to
the same artist, but she now is actually in Dior. So this is actually at the other award ceremony, and this blue is also, green, sorry, is absolutely incredible. I love that she's playful, you know what I mean? So she's kind of moved from a different kind of silhouette, and this is Dior Couture, which is absolutely incredible also.
This is a playful dress, and also with her hair styled the way it is, it doesn't make her look... she looks playful and young.
Yes, which is important. Which is important. Love the back detail also there. I think she's really good at understanding her angles there. So another top look for me.
She knows what works.
Exactly.
Let's move on over to Selena Gomez. I saw... Oh, this one I haven't seen.
You haven't seen? So Selena Gomez
Come on.
She's the classic princess look. I love the red detail. For me, like, red is such a power statement. And you really have to have the energy to pull it off. And I think she's killed it absolutely. That shoulder detail is so refined.
Has she ever done anything wrong on the red carpet?
I don't think so. I actually cannot remember a time.
There's three people that I always look forward to when it comes to like red carpet season. It's her, it has to be Zendaya and Beyonce. The three of them, I'm just like, I wait for a moment, and when they appear on, and I'm like, this is effortless. She looks flawless.
Absolutely.
Red is also just such a beautiful color.
100%.
It's always a in-season color.
Yes.
Like royalty.
Royal,
so
absolutely.
Can't fault this look.
I love how you're saying that, because I could actually also see a Zendaya in this. And she understands her body. And Tabiso, actually, he is a top...
after their little heel dancing exercise.
But it's absolutely classic, and I think she'd really look good. I'd love to see Zendaya in something like this too.
Can't wait for that. Do we have another look for her in this, or are we going to move on to the next one, which is Ariana DeBose? She's also looking stunning in yellow. It's the side leg for me.
And she won an award.
Yes, absolutely. So here I'm in two minds. Love the yellow. Not sure if I love the rose.
So, okay, when JP Sebastian, when we played that little clip of her going up on the stage to collect it, it is a beautiful dress. It just doesn't photograph well. I feel like the photograph doesn't do this dress justice.
Yes, and I think that's important. The movement of a dress based on how it photographs is sometimes very different. But what I love here also is definitely the silhouette. Her legs are having a moment. I have a different opinion on the thing, but I mean, that's not a big deal. So really classic look here. I love how fierce she looks, actually.
Could you also imagine this dress in like white?
Are you thinking wedding vibes?
Not even wedding vibes, just like, ooh. I think that would have just taken it to a whole other level. But this is beautiful. I'm excited for more award seasons, for more red carpet moments, because
we've missed it. It's been a while.
Oh, man, this feels like home.
It does. Well, Knox, thank you for joining us, talking all things fashion when it came to the awards.
Okay, that yellow one, certainly.
Think of your complexion, how it would pop with that, with that little red rose.
The red one on you,
Magic. I'm there for that. I'm ready for it. Well, just like those difficult choices of what to wear, when to step out, sometimes in life we have to make those tough choices, like breaking up with our old couch, because you know that you want, and more importantly, you deserve a Goma Goma. Top quality material used to make Goma Goma lounge suites and couches means that you have a lifelong support partner in a Goma Goma.
And this really is a support and supportive partner indeed. We have been so interested. We've really loved seeing why you need to break up with your old couch, because those stories can always be fun to go through. So let's take a look at some more entries and those comments that have come through. The first one is from Tidi Mamazuelo Mokoena, who says, I'm currently using my mother's old couch, which used to be black, but now it's grey. The living room is not my favorite room because of this old couch. I go straight to my bedroom after a long day. Hashtag you deserve Goma.
That's an unhealthy relationship.
That's it. Like where you can't even like be in the same
I'm saying
space.
that's a toxic relationship, girl. You've got to make a plan.
There's a picture there.
Natalie Gerba says, we have had our couch since the day we got married on 28 years ago. Wow, that's a lifespan. Our entire three-piece lounge suite is broken. Hashtag you deserve Goma.
It's
Oh my goodness. Look at the state of that.
No, man, no. That relationship has got to come to an end. And you know what? I know that you deserve Goma.
I think a bear might have gotten into her house at some point.
So you had
a
bear intercept your relationship, basically. Listen, follow Goma Goma on their Instagram page at Goma Goma _SA. You can get them on Facebook as well, Goma Goma, as well as visiting their website, goma.co.za. So you can find out more about their various top quality lounge suites on offer.
Now that we know that there is such an emotional investment in the lounge suite or in your couch, you've got to take the time and lay the foundation for a proper relationship. And I can tell you, with a Goma Goma, you get all the support you need.
That's all you're here for.
I don't want to lie.
You are here for it. Do it. Don't be held back. Do it. Don't hold yourself back. Okay, good. See ya.
Oh, it's so nice.
Good night. Sleep well.
come a little bit closer because I have a feeling this next conversation is going to resonate with you, whoever you are. Now, can you believe it? We have officially reached a full 2 years since the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Almost feels like a lifetime ago. Whilst I think we've come to grips with the major lifestyle changes, I think many South Africans out there are still reeling from the devastating financial impact, especially from that first year of lockdown. This is exactly why Nedbank are urging South Africans to commit to making better money choices. We have to. And joining us this morning to provide some insight and a little bit of guidance, please welcome Pilani Bubu, the Executive Head of Marketing from Nedbank Retail and Business Banking. Pilani, always so good to connect with you. How are you?
Very well, thank you for having me, Graham. So nice to see you again.
So, Pilani, I'm going to set the scene here with some certainly alarming facts for me, and I'd like you to process these for us if you can. So I'm going to read out some facts that I got from the 2021 TransUnion Consumer Pulse Report. So it says that 55% of households reported that their income has become negatively impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. 34% said someone in their household had lost their job. 32% indicated that someone in their home had had their salary reduced, and 28% had work hours cut recently. And only 34% believed that they had sufficient access to credit. What kind of picture do these stats paint about the current financial standing of everyday South Africans?
Yeah, I mean, Graham, those stats are really quite sobering, right? And it's with that context, really, that from a Nedbank perspective, we truly believe that better money management will really enable South Africans to make a positive impact to their finances by making the best money decisions for the long term, you know. So, I mean, at the heart of what we do, we absolutely believe that money well managed can make a real difference in people's lives. And so we really want to urge people to start rethinking a lot of the money decisions that we've made and just start making better money choices.
I think we've all been forced to reframe our financial well-being, if you will, because of the last 2 years. And I know that you are urging South Africans to make those better money choices, but what do those choices look like in a person's life?
So I think, you know, as a financial services provider that really strives to do good across every area of society, we really recognize that in 2022 and beyond, by the way, we can truly empower our clients and the public at large to really start making these better money choices. And it's what we've done is by taking them on this journey that seeks to encourage responsible spending, better ways of saving, but also better ways of borrowing, right? Because we know that's also a critical part of money management. And now what's important to remember is that things like responsible lending is essentially a commitment by a financial institution to only lend an amount of money that it's sure that its clients would be able to repay it, right? So we're really wanting to emphasize the importance of consumers and how they approach a bank, that they understand their personal financial position to ensure that they receive a product that's really aligned to their needs, not only in like today's needs, but in their future needs as well.
Yeah, it certainly got me thinking about that long-term trajectory. I use that term so much now. And it's great that you've got those products to help with the financial literacy. How else are you motivating people to upscale, to improve on their financial literacy?
So at the beginning of this year, we actually landed a national integrated campaign across all kind of broadcast and digital platforms. And it was a campaign that is really simple, but quite difficult to do. It's a campaign around making better money choices. What we did is we went out and we asked South Africans around what better choices were they going to be making in the new year. You know, with the start of the new year, we all kind of make these New Year's resolutions and stuff. So we just really wanted to hear the real life stories and insights into how people were going to be making better money choices. Part of that campaign is we launched a competition where we're offering entrants, you know, to win up to 10,000 rands by merely just sharing their stories of how they were going to avoid kind of reckless spending and just choosing to make these better choices. I mean, the engagement of this campaign has been really, really phenomenal. And for me, what's been encouraging is just to see how intentional people are about actually making different decisions about their lives. And I think, Graham, if the last 2 years are anything to go by, if we've learned anything in the last 2 years, it's that we need to be better, to do better with our money, to be a lot more responsible. And so we got this flood of responses, and really South Africans shared their wisdom, their insights, and offering ways in which they are going to make better money choices. I was really encouraged by this.
Yeah, I know we've been a kind of a gateway to a lot of those comments here on the show, and it's been amazing to see how many people have been forced, I suppose the reality of their situation, to make those better choices, but like you say, have chosen to become more conscious and intentional about those choices. So as someone who has been working at the coalface for the last 2 years, knows where we are, and most importantly, knows where we are going, do you have any further remarks or maybe some advice for consumers out there?
I think really the big thing is just to be deliberate and intentional around, how you spend your money, how you save your money, and how you borrow money. It's just that intentionality, and not just kind of be blasé about things. But I think maybe perhaps from a Nedbank perspective, I would really encourage everyone to just follow us across our digital platforms. Our handle is @Nedbank across the platforms, where we're issuing different tips, different advice, sharing these stories, sharing these insights. But there's also other information that we're sharing from our expertise that we really want to share with South Africans. And of course, other engagement pieces like competitions where you stand a chance to win. So just follow @Nedbank.
A little extra 10 grand here or there is certainly going to help the financial outlook, but ultimately it's about taking responsibility and knowing what tools you have at your disposal. So I would add to that, I would suggest getting in touch with your personal bank or making that connection with your bank so you can find out a little bit more about the amazing products that are on offer, because they are there to lean on when you need it most. Buli, thank you so much for your advice this morning. As always, some absolute gems. Go and have an amazing day, and I haven't seen your 2-year-old in a diaper once, so that's another success this morning. Well done.
I told it to skedaddle, so you wouldn't have seen it. Thank you so much, Graham. Have a fantastic day.
You too. I think the take-home for me, we can all commit, be intentional about making better money choices, one decision at a time. Just start with one step. And to find out more about accounts and about products that can help you kickstart your financial journey or maybe take you to the next level, go and visit nedbank.co.za.
Don't go to Umashonisa, uzozola. Do you want a bank that takes your money or a bank that takes your money choices seriously? Join Nedbank today.
Well, the time now is 1 minute after 8 o'clock. Time to have a final look at those news headlines. Starting on the national front, the Northwest government has resolved to speedily intervene in 4 local municipalities. They are reported to be dysfunctional due to political and administrative instability, and service delivery has been affected. The municipalities are Ditsobotla in Lichtenburg, Makwasi Hills in Wolmeranstad, Moses Kotane in Mokwase, and Mamusa in Swazireneke. Northwest Premier Bushi Mape says they are worried about the collapse of services and have decided to step in. Then train services between Bellville and Cape Town resumed yesterday without passengers after being closed for nearly 2 years. Metrorail closed the line in March 2020 when lockdown level 5 was first implemented. Spokesperson Nana Zenani said passengers would be able to board trains from tomorrow. She said a new operating timetable would also be introduced soon. Zenani added that all stations on that line would be functional except for Parow, which had been badly vandalized and as a result would take longer to come into operation. Then looking to news further abroad, security forces in Sudan have fired tear gas at people protesting against sharp rises in the cost of bread and fuel. Marches have been held across the country and demonstrators said live bullets were used against them. On Sunday, the price of bread increased by more than 40% and the cost of fuel is also soaring. The United Nations says a third of Sudan's population is already reliant on aid. The situation has deteriorated since last year's coup, which led to the suspension of crucial donor funds. Then staying on the international front, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres has warned that the country of Ukraine was being decimated before the world's eyes, with the impact on civilians reaching terrifying proportions. Now, this comes as he urgently appealed for peace and diplomacy. The UN chief was addressing the devastating impacts of the Russian invasion and military assault on Ukraine as concerns grow regarding rising hunger and dwindling supplies of water and medicine there. The UN chief said the poorest regions of the world would suffer the broader economic consequences of this conflict most acutely. And then the city of Tshwane has announced the birth of no less than 5 cheetah cubs at Reframing Nature Reserve. They were first spotted during the weekend by city nature conservation officials. Cheetah mothers are known to keep their cubs well hidden and move their den every few days to protect the cubs from harm. Now, a beaming Tshwane City Mayor Randall Williams said, and I quote, "It's only once the cubs reach about 6 weeks that they start moving around with their mother and eat meat for her kills." Their mother, known as Njozi, it means dreams in Swahili, is known for her shyness and doesn't show herself that much. Now, Mayor Williams explained, and I quote again, "She roams throughout Reframing Nature Reserve and is mainly spotted during the early mornings or late afternoons." Reframing Nature Reserve is the perfect reserve to form part of the cheetah breeding program, as there is no direct competition from other large predators, which often results in a high adult and cub mortality rate. Cheetahs were first introduced to the Reframing Nature Reserve in 2002, and Njozi is kept there permanently for breeding purposes. On that note, that is where I wrap up your news headlines here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's time now to have a final look at the sports headlines. Here's G.
Thank you so much, Jamie. Let's start with football. And Manchester City, they missed a trick. They wasted a host of chances in what will be a damaging 0-0 draw at Crystal Palace to leave them now just 4 points clear of Liverpool at the top of the Premier League table. Pep Guardiola's side, they had 18 shots on goal and 74% of the possession, but left Selhurst Park ruining a series of terrible misses, as Bernardo Silva and Emerick Laporte were guilty of probably the most glaring miscues. And then elsewhere, it is now evenly poised in the Champions League round of 16 legs tonight between Man United and Atletico Madrid, and Ajax against Benfica. So United head into that second leg having secured a 1-0 draw in the first leg, and I'll be hoping that Ronaldo is on the same kind of form he's shown in the league, while Ajax and Benfica, they are currently locked at 2 goals apiece. And staying with footballing news, Bafana Bafana's head coach Hugo Broos has named his squad for the friendly international matches against Guinea and world champions France later this month. So Broos has retained many of the players who came so close to qualifying for the third round of the FIFA World Cup qualifiers, but there are also some interesting new additions. So right backs, Koliso Modao and Bandile Shandu, they've been selected, as has young centre-back Athenkosi Mqaba, who has featured in just 8 PSL games in his entire career. Talk about a break. Then left back Lyle Lackey, he gets a welcome recall for what could be his first cap since Sao Tome and Principe in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifiers back in 2020. And Matobi Mbala and Tabang Monare also in the fold. Bafana will be taking on Guinea in Belgium on the 25th of March before that clash with France in Lille on March the 29th. Then on to cricket. She has done it again and in style. Maybe one of her best performances to date. South Africa rode one of the great individual performances from Marizanne Cup to earn a stunning 3-wicket victory over the defending champions England in the ICC Women's World Cup yesterday. So Cup took a maiden ODI fifer, created a crucial run out late in England's innings, and then scored a vital 32 of 42 balls as South Africa successfully chased its highest ever total at a World Cup, knocking the 236 needed for victory with 4 balls to spare at the Bay Oval. The experienced Cup took 5 for 45 to help South Africa restrict the 2017 champions to 235 for 9 after putting them into bat. And then Laura Volfart led from the front, scoring 77 at the top of the innings before Cup contributed 32 at the back end to propel her side over the line. So our next focus, South Africa turn their attention to the West Indies tomorrow. And then finally, he's not done yet. Will he ever be? In fact, Tom Brady, one of the greatest players in NFL history, maybe the GOAT, is coming back for his 23rd season, just 6 weeks after announcing his official retirement. So the 44-year-old quarterback said last month he He was ending his playing career after winning a record 7 Super Bowls, but Brady has now said he has, quote, unfinished business and will rejoin the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In his final game of the 2021 season, Brady narrowly failed to pull off a sensational comeback from 27-3 down in those playoffs as the Bucs ultimately lost 30-27 to the eventual Super Bowl winners, the Los Angeles Rams. Will he get an 8th? Chances are he probably will, but that's where we leave our sport for this Tuesday morning. Let's get one last look at the weather.
Thank you so much, G. Starting on the weather front, the MEC for Cooperative Governance, Human Settlements and Traditional Affairs in Northwest Lenamiga yesterday visited the flood-stricken Deelpan and Swaying local municipality. The area recently had torrential rains and numerous houses were submerged, leaving many families stranded. A task team comprising officials from local municipalities and departments has been assembled to mobilize resources and provide humanitarian relief to families. Now, these families are being accommodated in the local Gereformeerde Kerk, and further needs assessments will be done once the water has subsided. Meanwhile, the South African Weather Service has issued a yellow level 2 warning for the Lowveld early this morning and the western Highveld of Mpumalanga. The south central and southwest of Limpopo, as well as the northern parts of Gauteng, will experience heavy rainfall this afternoon. And our thoughts and our prayers are certainly with all our fellow South Africans during this time, and we urge all residents in these areas to move to higher areas if possible. Then next we move from weather news to sunrise views from the rest of the country as we showcase the photos shared by you, our viewers, on the Expresso Facebook page. Now, Brian Smith from Mossel Bay started off our Tuesday morning with this gorgeous shot overlooking the ocean filled with burnt hues reflecting in the water below. Absolutely stunning. Then regular contributor Gary Aukamp shared this awesome shot on behalf of his nephew Jesse Daniel, who is an avid sailor and surfer taken while on the Buffalo River in East London. What an amazing way to start the day, Jesse. Safe sailing out there from all of us here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Then Roxy Mays from Gqeberha also kicked off our 7 a.m. update with this gorgeously moody shot of an area showing off those dark clouds above as the rain falls, contrasting with the glow of the sky as the sun comes up too. Then last but definitely not least, Sumaya Conrad from Weinberg shared this beautiful shot of the blue skies in the area, showing the sun rays just breaking through a bit of a cloud cover on this Tuesday morning. Absolutely stunning. But right now, here's a final look at the temperatures for today. If you do find yourself in Polokwane, do expect some thunder showers coming your way with a range of 16 to 24. For you, Mbombela, rain is coming your way on this Tuesday with a minimum of 19 and a maximum of 21. Pretoria, for you, it is a low of 16 that will peak at 22. Johannesburg can also expect some thunder showers with a range of 15 peaking at 20. Mahikeng, 13, 25. Klerksdorp as well, your range is 13 to 24. If you do find yourself in Kimberley on this Tuesday, do expect a low of 11 and a high of 24. Bloemfontein, for you, it is 10, 23. Richards Bay, do expect a 75% chance of rain today. That will range from 18 to 20. Pietermaritzburg as well, rain is coming your way with a low of 13 and a high of 20. And Durban, your day starts off with a 19 and will later peak at 23. Mthatha as well, 12, 20 is your average. East London, 15 to 19. And then Craddock, your range is 9 to 21. Gqeberha, for you, it is 15, 20. George can be seen with a minimum of 13 and a maximum of 21, as well as the mother city, Cape Town, partly cloudy conditions are expected with a range of 17 to 21. Worcester, sunshine coming your way with a range of 10 to 27. Sutherland, 6, 22. And last but definitely not least, Uppington ranges from 13 to 28. Well, that is where I leave your weather here on your Feel Good Breakfast show.
Thank you very much for that, Jamie Lee Domberg. So it looks like it's getting a bit warmer in some parts of the country, but hey, chilly in other parts of the country. But one of the best ways to cool off if you ever did need that is with a naturally refreshing Clover Manhattan iced tea. Trust me, I know all about that. It's available in various flavors, so swap out your morning tea beverage with something that bursts with vibrant fruit flavors. Oh yes! Oh yes. Now, whilst we're on the topic of swap outs, it's time for us to maybe try out tofu as a replacement for meat proteins. Have you ever done that? You're about to see it. We spill the iced tea on how you can enjoy this plant-based protein in a refreshing way with tofu nuggets.
Yes.
Woo! No, you are bringing out all the big guns today. Okay.
Yes, so another quick and easy meal alternative, right? So we are pairing this tofu nuggets with the Manhattan iced tea, which we love because it's made with robust tea extracts, right? That's what we love about it. It has no added colorants.
Yes.
And what else do we like about it?
It's naturally refreshing, which is fantastic. All the good things. So let's maybe get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it. So you want to start off by preparing your tofu. We're doing this in 3 stages. We're going to prepare the tofu, then we're going to prepare our batter, and then finally we're going to prepare our breading. Okay.
Okay, great.
Now,
so I'm not going to wait for you to finish before I enjoy my Manhattan iced tea. So while you go there, I'll be pouring some for us so that we can refresh it in the meantime. Yeah, show me.
Okay, so you want to cut your tofu into little squares, just like nugget size squares, and then you are going to move on to preparing your batter. We have already here some flour that has already been seasoned, and you're going to add some milk to your flour to create your batter and whisk that nicely. So we're using a plant-based milk here today.
One for you, Queen. Yes,
thank you so much. Yes, okay, so we've prepared our batter. We added some milk, and then we're going to prepare our breading. Okay, nice and simple. We've got some breadcrumbs here. To that, we're going to add some nutritional yeast. Love nutritional yeast. Have you had nutritional yeast?
I don't know what nutritional yeast is.
Oh, my word. So it's a really great type of yeast. It actually adds a little bit of a cheesy, in fact, not a little bit cheesy. It's
quite a bit
really
of like a strong cheesy flavor to it.
Funky flavor that we love.
Oh, nice.
Great flavor for those who are plant-based to still get that cheesy flavor.
Yes.
Then we're going to add some paprika.
Beautiful.
And we're going to mix that all together. And then we're going to assemble our nuggets. Okay. So you
How
can
do we
help
do
me.
that?
So
I like that this is a quick recipe. So if somebody told you got 40 seconds to prepare this for me, what would you do?
Yes, so you've already got your tofu blocks here. You want to dip your tofu blocks in some of the batter, and then you transfer them into the breadcrumbs.
Okay.
You coat them nice and thoroughly in some breadcrumbs.
So make sure it's nicely covered.
Yes, nicely covered. You put in a bowl, and you're going to do all of these, of course. Then you're going to put them in an air fryer. And then, of course, air fry them for about 10 minutes until they're crispy.
If you don't have an air fryer?
You can always put them in the oven.
Oh, Queen,
just as
like
fine.
that. So when you attempt a plant-based diet, adding, natural flavor like we've seen with that nutritional yeast and all of that is the best way to go, just about doing that. Just like that naturally refreshing flavors, of course, that we are getting from our Clover Manhattan iced tea. We know that Clover Manhattan iced tea is naturally refreshing with no added colorants, as Nomfundiso has already said. It's made with purified water and a great source of all the vitamins that you need. It's made with robust tea extracts, and it's, of course, low in kilojoules, has natural sweetness. It also comes in great fruity flavors for you to try. And chicken nuggets, they are tasty, but tofu nuggets, they really do go a different layer altogether. And if you want this recipe, go on to expressoshow.com. We've got that there with all the ingredients. You rock my world. Cheers to that. Let's drink to it. And ta-da.
Yeah.
Yes, go check it out.
I'll go. But one of you said, oh, he's back. Move away.
Clover fresh milk.
Made with love by Clover. Only you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are live with Expresso. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. Now, World Kidney Day is a global health awareness campaign focusing on the importance of the kidneys and reducing the frequency and impact of kidney disease and its associated health problems worldwide. And this morning we are joined by nephrologist Professor Nicola Warren to share her extensive knowledge with us, as well as the importance of looking after our kidney health. A very, very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us. Is this the most important day of the year for you?
Well, I must say, for a nephrologist, this is the the highlight of our year, to try to engage with the people, to actually explain to them the importance of kidney health. So I'm really grateful to be here to be able to do that today, Graham. Thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure, and hopefully we'll reach as many people as we can, especially those that are ultimately most affected by this. But let's start with the kidney in itself and what its function is. How does it tie into the bigger system?
Okay, so the kidney has multiple functions, and its most important function is to remove waste from the body. So, all the toxins that we build up is eliminated by the kidneys. We also find that the kidney removes excess fluid. It's important for electrolyte balance, for acid base, but it also has some particularly important functions in that it produces hormones that actually regulate red blood cells, which are important for oxygenation throughout the body. It also improves it actually is responsible for the hormone that converts vitamin D to its active form. So it's really good with bone health. So actually for us as nephrologists, this kidney is like a very important...
He's a multitasker. She's a multitasker. I'm going to call her a she because she's doing so much.
She's multitasking.
I'm playing a vital role in every one of those ways. It begs the question then, what would cause a kidney to stop functioning properly?
Okay, so kidneys the kidney failure or end-stage kidney disease, the main causes pretty much globally is diabetes that's not well controlled, hypertension also when it's poorly controlled, but also there's some other subtle things like HIV, for example, predisposes you to kidney disease. Also, a very frightening thing for us is a glomerulonephritis, which is an inflammation in the kidney, and unfortunately we often don't see the results of end-stage kidney disease until it's actually at the end. So they're the ones we kind of want to sort of capture as well. Kidney stones can lead to end-stage renal disease, and there's a whole variety of genetic as well as other obstructive causes. So, yeah, we deal with a lot of different causes.
And I suppose because, when you talk about the extremity of where you can go with that, you're obviously wanting people to identify these things, hence why today is so important to be preemptive if we can. Talk to me about the difference between a kidney infection. Is there a scale? Is it all or nothing? Either chronic disease, or can we get a kidney infection? How does that relate to a bladder infection in terms of the health of that system?
So kidney infections are very common. I will just say that for a start. And it usually starts by getting a bladder infection that actually ascends into the kidneys, and then we get what we call a pyelonephritis or an infection in the kidney. Now, most of the time we can actually treat that very efficiently. We might get a little bit of acute kidney injury or acute kidney failure, but actually most of the time if we identify that early, that is treatable.
And how does it exhibit?
So when someone gets an acute, when they get an infection, generally one gets the symptoms of increased frequency of urination, burning on urination, and then if it ascends into your kidneys, they can get pain in their flanks. Now, most of the time, as I said, that actually we can treat that. So that is a very we can reverse that. But I must say, diabetics who are also prone to chronic kidney disease are actually quite at risk of these infections, and also women, because of the proximity of where the bugs come from, which is from the back to the front.
Sure.
Women are more at risk. So there are infections are one of the lesser forms of end-stage kidney disease and the more treatable forms.
Is there a way we can do a self-check for our kidney health? Is there a way that we can kind of monitor our system or prod in an area? How do we look after our kidney, essentially?
I think that the reason why World Kidney Day is so important is that most causes or most people present with end-stage kidney disease without actually knowing they had it. And for nephrologists, we call it the silent killer, because many people present when they're already lost 80% of their kidney function and they didn't even know. So really what we really want to emphasize is that it's really, really important to get screened for diabetes, to make sure your blood pressure is well controlled. If you've got HIV, make sure that you're looking after someone's checking your renal function. And actually, if you've got stones, make sure that people are checking your kidney function, and every once in a while, actually for part of your general health, having your renal function checked is actually a very important thing. Even renal function through the blood, but also dipsticking the urine and making sure there's no abnormalities there. So for us, it's about preventative before you even know you have it. And then once we have established that you might have early renal failure, then we need to make sure that all of the risk factors are actually dealt with appropriately.
And we'll get into exactly how we go about that. I'm dying to know what dialysis is and how it works and pertains to the kidneys. It is World Kidney Day today, and we are hopefully going to educate you and help you, at least as many people as we can, preempt having any serious issues in that space.
Well, we are back on the Expresso stage with Pilani Bubu. Her smooth vocals has been entertaining us all morning, and her next performance is called Pendulum Swing. Take it away.
Swings the pendulum. That's the conundrum. That's the conundrum. High swings the pendulum. That's the conundrum. That's the conundrum. Adrenaline rush, a lonely push. Time it was an Afghan kush, dangling high upon a swing. Tightly on a string. Came into my life in such a rush, asking for things you couldn't fulfill just so you can pull the strings. I am swinging high on you, on you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am swinging high on you, on you. High swings the pendulum. That's the conundrum. That's the conundrum. High swings the pendulum. That's the conundrum. That's the conundrum. You left me on a swing. Was this a lonely fling? Like puppeteers, our own ideas, wiping our own tears. You left me on a swing. Was this a lonely fling? Like engineers without gears, addressing our own fears. I gave it up to you. Broken celibacy, so what's in a treat? 'Cause you take, but you don't give back. So now I want you to finish what you started, 'cause you got me broken hearted. 'Cause you take, but you don't give back. I am swinging high on you, on you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I am swinging high on you, on you. Yeah. High swings the pendulum. That's the conundrum. That's the conundrum. Melvin and Bass. That's the conundrum. That's the conundrum. You left me on a swing. Was this a lonely fling? Like engineers without gears addressing our own fears. You left me on a swing. Was this a lonely fling? Like puppeteers without gears addressing our own fears. You left me hanging. You left me. You left me. You left me hanging. You left me. You left me.
Effortless, effortless, effortless. Please can you come back every day this week? We need so much more of you. That was beautiful, guys. The band was amazing. If you felt like you need a little bit more, well, guess what? She has one more performance just for you, so don't go anywhere.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Well, after that stunning performance, hopefully you've come back down to earth from the heavens and you're ready to get back into our medical chat this morning. And we've got the pleasure of having nephrologist Professor Nicola Wern with us this morning as we discuss World Kidney Day that was celebrated or commemorated last week. And we hone in on the vitally important role that the kidneys play in our bodies. Prof, I know you've touched on bladder infection being a root cause. What are some of the other reasons, maybe lifestyle influences, things that can lead to ill health and infections within our kidneys?
Okay, so the main ones actually are the control of diabetes. Really, it is the #1 killer.
Diabetes has put its hand up over the last 3 years,
It has, and unfortunately we are rising. It's a rising pandemic in its own right, and really we are, nephrologists really deal with a lot of diabetic kidney disease. So we really have to make sure that we identify if we have diabetes, that if we do have diabetes, that we make sure it's very well managed. So diabetes is really the number one. Number two is high blood pressure, another disease of lifestyle.
The human condition, I'll call it.
The human condition. We have to make sure that we regularly get our blood pressures checked and that we keep our blood pressures to target. There's also, you know, we're not doing that enough, and diabetes and hypertension are overwhelming the end-stage kidney disease that we're dealing with. There's also other, unfortunately, it extends further than that, and we need to, there are genetic causes and something called autosomal dominant polycystic kidney disease, which is a bit of a mouthful.
Just rolls off the tongue.
But it actually, it actually isn't that uncommon, and it does run in families. So people who have got it actually need to ensure that they are well managed. There are inflammation in the kidney rather than infection that actually often goes unnoticed, and we have to be very aware when we screen for kidney disease that we are checking for proteinuria and blood in our kidneys. So they are some of the main causes of kidney disease.
I suppose with it being a gateway and connecting so many different systems, you can understand why it's such a vital, or plays such a vital role. I'm just waiting for you to say, like, eat beetroot every day and you'll be fine. That's what I want to hear this morning.
I could say for the nephrologist, we would actually say that salt is like a toxin, and that's what I tell everyone. So a diseased kidney does not handle salt well. So if you are a salt lover and you've got blood pressure issues or kidney issues, really, it is like a toxin. So I would say keep the salt away, but also, you know, we used to say an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but actually the new apple is the banana, but not if you have renal failure, but it's actually meant to be good for blood pressure and potassium, and so,
good for
you know,
the mood as
I think
well,
general well health and stopping smoking, exercise, all of those things are good for kidneys.
We get to that advanced stage of kidney disease. How do we treat it?
Well, as a nephrologist, we really don't want to get there. So, unfortunately, once your kidney gets down to less than 80% function, so we got 10% left, that's when we're looking at the forms of dialysis that are required. And actually call transplantation, dialysis is all part of renal replacement therapy. So we look at them all as one type of therapy to improve kidney failure. So there are different types of dialysis. There's hemodialysis, there's peritoneal dialysis, and then there's transplantation. And we hope that no one gets there, but if we do get there, then we have to start looking at dialysis as an option.
Right, we're going to explore a little bit more about what dialysis actually is, and I've got a burning question. Can you survive with one kidney? We'll find out in a moment.
Well, when struggling with health issues, it's good to know what your body needs. You've got to listen to your body. And this next recipe is kidney-friendly, trust me.
So, we've had classic fashion from Timby, classic cars, thanks, Chad, and we've seen classic hairstyles. And you, Michael? Classic!
A classic range from Clover. Timeless taste.
Made with love by Clover.
Yep, it is classic indeed. And if you're looking for inspiring ways to create a delicious nutrient-dense salad bowl, oh, you've come to the right place at the right time. We've got one you might just enjoy. It's chickpeas. Yes. They are always a go-to, especially when they are crispy. Serve them with some veggies and creamy, flavor-packed dressing. Ooh, it's a winning combination, and it's levels at the same time, and that's just plainly amazing. Ndumisa, you are still here, and you're like, yes. Classic. Classic. You're ready to give it to us. I love the teacher, by the way, in that ad. She's my favorite girl.
Right,
She's my favorite girl at the moment.
She's amazing.
These days, I get a haircut and I say to my barber, classic. Okay, so let's go. What is this?
So we're preparing some crispy chickpeas, which are wonderful, because who doesn't love chickpeas, right? They're just amazing.
We all love them, yes.
Okay, so in the meantime, you could please be adding some of that classic dairy snack
so I should go like, what, 4 scoops, eh?
Yeah, so we do this in 2 steps, right? You want to prepare your chickpeas in a pan, as we're doing here.
Okay.
And so through a large pan, you want to add your chickpeas, your broccoli, some green beans, and then, of course...
all that good stuff is going in.
Yes, all of that good stuff. Drizzle some olive oil. We love olive oil.
Great.
And we add paprika
as well
You know,
as...
for me, paprika is one of those spices, right? It's just like, if you're going to introduce spices, for me, without paprika, then we're not going anywhere.
You've missed it,
this
right?
This trip is not going anywhere. We're going nowhere slowly. Okay, great. So you mix it all together.
Yeah, you toss everything together to make sure that all the flavors go into all your vegetables and your beans. Okay, then you want to put this in an oven, but you can also use an air fryer, and you want to really just grill them or fry them until they are crispy.
That's great. Okay, cool.
Right. So here's you preparing our lemon tahini dressing.
Yeah.
So you've already added for us our classic dairy snack.
Yeah.
And I also learned that Clover also has a lactose-free dairy snack.
Yes,
which is amazing.
Good. It's a good alternative for those who suffer lactose intolerance. We also know that Clover Classic Dairy Snack is a deliciously smooth and creamy dairy snack, and it gives a creamy taste to our lemon tahini dressing, which Nondumiso is making right now. You can also assemble these bowls with as many veggies as you prefer. It's really up to you. You can explore, and that's the biggest thing that Nondumiso has been teaching us. Explore, experiment, and really play with those kind of things. Those grains, like quinoa, for example, you could use that. Or even, what else could you use?
So if insofar as grains go, you could use sorghum.
Sorghum as well.
Or barley.
Okay.
Or you can even just use regular rice. That also works here if you want to keep it simple.
You are taking us to the good side. I love that about you. Great.
Yeah, so we assemble our tahini dressing.
Yes.
As you see, we're adding some tahini
Going in
to
there.
our classic snack, and then we're adding some pepper, a little bit of salt. Already added some lemon juice and a little bit of honey. And if you don't eat honey, you could always add agave or some maple syrup.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah. So you want to mix up your dressing. This is delicious.
Yeah.
You mix it all up, and then we're going to assemble everything in this beautiful bowl. Here we've got some couscous.
Do you know that couscous has recently become my favorite thing to make?
Right?
Because, do you know why?
Why?
Because it's so
It's so simple.
I love making couscous. It's my thing.
Yes. So you want to assemble it in a bowl of couscous, but you've already said you can always use a substitute for couscous like quinoa.
Now your goods have come out. There they are. And they're looking so nice and so crispy. Literally, the dish is done. To get the recipe, go on to expressoshow.com. And if you missed any of the steps involved in this delicious offering that Nondumiso has brought, please take a look at this quick recap.
Made with love by Clover.
Upstyle your home with Expresso as 3 lucky viewers like you stand a chance to win game vouchers to the value of 25,000 Rand for a room improvement of your very own.
To enter, all you have to do is post a photo of the space you want to revamp on Expresso's Facebook or Twitter competition post, and remember to use the hashtag #GotGame in your entry.
The competition is closing on the 22nd of March 2022, and all the terms and conditions apply. Good luck.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked as we delve back into I Am Learning, is what is probably the most vital conversation I'm going to have at the moment. We are learning more about World Kidney Day, which was commemorated last week, and most importantly, the vital role that kidneys play in the healthy functioning of our bodies this morning. And of course, nephrologist Professor Nicola Warren has joined us this morning with some absolute gems. And we're building towards a bit of a aha light bulb moment for me here, because I always try and distill it down so that or dumb it down is probably a better word, so that I can understand it. But I want to ask, a question came through our social media platforms. We're talking about dialysis and then the next phase being a kidney transplant. If a person has had a kidney removed and they only have one kidney left and they have a transplant and that fails, what happens? Give us a picture of the system, the transplant system. Do they go back to the end of the queue on the waiting list? How does that work?
Okay, so there's two things we need to deal with here. But the first is, if you've had a transplant and then it's successful, and depending on how, well, the bottom line is, yes, you can successfully transplant again. There are obviously some patients that are unable to get a transplant for a variety of different reasons. Either their health has deteriorated or actually the anatomy to put the kidney back in is a problem. But I would say a lot of patients who have had a transplant are able to have a second transplant. But actually what that means most of the time is spending a period back on dialysis. And the quickest way to get a transplant is to actually have someone to actually donate it to you, whether it's a family member or a friend, to actually come to us, and we try to facilitate the transplant. So yes, you can actually have a second transplant. In fact, we've even got patients who are now on a third. It becomes trickier, but it is possible.
We talk about dialysis as, I mean, it's absolutely vital. Is that something that you are constantly on if your kidney has reached that point when you talk about 80% failure? Is it something that you have to pop into the hospital once a day? How does dialysis actually work?
Okay, so, you know, there are two types of dialysis. There's hemo in-center dialysis, where for most patients in South Africa will attend 3 times a week for 3 to 4 hours a session. So very, very consuming of their life and their ability to function in a normal way. 3 times a week, 3 to 4 hours is a huge part of your life that is taken away. Alternatively, there is peritoneal dialysis, where you actually get dialysis through the peritoneum of your abdomen. It sounds a bit weird, but I must say I'm a very big advocate for it, because it can be done at home, and you can do most of your dialysis is really done away from the hospital. So I personally, improvement in quality of life, being able to continue people working and living in a normal way as much as possible. So ideally, we all want people to have a transplant if they can get it, because that actually removes the need for dialysis. So that's what we strive for.
Pressure on the system itself, and massive impact, as you've highlighted, in a person's life. To round this off, you know, it's starting to hit home for me. Not very often are we able to prevent a chronic disease, but in this instance, it seems that your lifestyle and those choices that you make are vital.
So I would say for the majority of people who have end-stage renal disease, actually there can be we can actually prevent it going to end stage. And as I said, lifestyle, blood pressure, preventing diabetes, making sure your weight is well controlled, because with increased weight comes your increased risk of diabetes. Blood pressure, as I said, is very important. Stopping smoking, because smoking is bad for vessels, and kidneys have, as you can probably understand, lots of vessels. And also for blood pressure, ensure that our cholesterol is checked, because that can also contribute to kidney disease. And really it's about healthy lifestyle and ensuring that we have preventative care. We make sure we check on our yearly checks for our renal function, that our blood pressure is well controlled, that we screen for diabetes. If we have HIV, then we regularly screen for renal disease in that. And if there's a family member who has a chronic kidney disease, that we pay particular importance to them.
Thank you so much, Prof. This has been an eye-opener. Hopefully you've been able to distill this down into how it relates to your world, and ultimately it's about making slightly better choices with the way that you treat your body. Look after yourself.
Such a vitally important conversation this morning. But for the last time this morning, Pilani Bubu is back on stage and she'll be performing Miss the Mark, Stay.
Shooting blanks in the dark. I wish we'd shot it out the park. I still think about you and I. All the things I wish we'd done, all the things I wish we never did. Then this would be a different day. I wouldn't be asking you to stay. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you want me to stay. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you want me to stay. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you want me to stay. Tell me that you want me. Stop, stay. Stay, 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 stay. Stay, 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 stay. Stay, 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 stay. None of what I said you understood. None of what I did was any good. All I really wanted was to love, was to really love you dearly. None of what I said you understood. None of what I did was any good. All I really wanted was to love, was to really love you dearly. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you want me to stay. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you want me to stay. Tell me that you want me. Tell me that you want me to stay. Tell me that you want me. Stay, 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 stay,
Darren Peterson on drums.
Was this a lockdown lonely fling? We fired up into the sky like a pendulum swing. Trumpet like its heart found a whole new meaning. We fell so hard we lost all sense of feeling. Presence was a gift, even from afar. I never thought you'd drift, even from my grasp. I didn't even notice that the door was ajar. 4 months in and 1 day out, out forever, without a word. He didn't even explain himself. Nothing explained and nothing exclaimed and not even paid. Just ghosted, ghosted. You just disappeared. Nothing explained and nothing exclaimed and not even paid. Just ghosted, ghosted. You just disappeared. Nothing explained and nothing exclaimed and not even paid. Just ghosted, ghosted. You just disappeared. You just disappeared. Just
You just disappear.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
It is your feel-good breakfast show. You're on S3. You know what? It's the final few minutes of the show. We thought, let's end off on a high. We have two amazing performers, Mr. Robin Peters and Sin Geisman, and we're going to be doing Mariah Carey's Always Be My Baby. Are you guys ready?
Yes, Jamie Lee Dunberg, everyone!
Yeah, DJ, hit the music, rather. I'm back up, eh?
No, don't do that. Here we go. That's not saying she would do, but okay. Hey, yeah. Yes. Hey, baby.
Take it away.
You were as one, babe, for a moment in time, and it seemed everlasting that you would always be mine. Now you wanna be free, so I'm letting you fly. 'Cause I know in my heart, babe, our love will never die. No, you'll always be a part of me.
I'm part of you indefinitely. Boy, don't you know you can't escape me?
Oh, darling, 'cause you'll always be my baby.
And we linger on. Time can't escape this feeling so strong.
Oh, darling, you can't escape me. Oh, darling, 'cause you'll always be my baby. Give it up for Jamie Lee Dunberg. Yes, ma'am. Yes, queen. Sang. Yes. You better do
I ain't gonna cry, no.
Yes, ma'am.
And I won't beg you to stay. If you turn it harmony, boy, I'm not standing your way. Back up here. But inevitably, you'll be back again. 'Cause you know in your heart, babe, our love will never end. No,
you'll always be a part of me. Oh,
I'm part of you indefinitely. Oh, darling, you can't escape me.
Oh, darling, 'cause you'll always be my baby.
And we'll linger on. Feeling so strong. Oh, you can't escape me.
Oh, darling, 'cause you'll always be my baby. Yeah.
Robin Peters, everybody.
Yes, sir. Like we can't sing. A little bit colder. Oh.
That you'll
What
be
does
right
it
back there.
Oh, baby, believe it's only maritime time. You'll always be my baby.
Shitty-doop, oh.
Yes. Mariah from Shiva.
Shitty-doop, oh yeah. Shitty-doop-doop-doop-doop.
Part of me. Nog eens, nog
I'm part of you indefinitely.
Oh, we tell about this. Oh, darling, 'cause you'll always be my baby.
Yay.
Thank you.
Cut music. Everybody, drop the
Bless
mic.
your heart. Cut it now.
Believe it or not, you guys are actually musicians, and that was amazing. Mariah Carey's probably doing, what are the kids doing? Amazing. Thank you for staying with us today. Let us know what you thought of that performance, and maybe if you want to send along a snippet of you doing that rendition, our rendition, without the words, everybody, let us know. Expresso Morning Show on HQ. Robin Peters and Geisman, always a good time to have you guys.
Jamie Lee
Well, I like how Jamie Lee Domberg says, let us know what you thought of that performance. Are you sure you want people to let you know?
It was amazing.
It's been stunning. We love you. We'll catch you tomorrow. Pilani, we love you. Thank you for joining us. See you tomorrow morning. Boo.
This month, say it with flavor, taste, and aroma, so they'll know it was made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.